bit. I guess we can on that side. And like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the GSH podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
I like the sanitized GX's media.
Man, I appreciate that, man. You know, we working, we trying to do better.
I dig it. All right. So again, we have a good one. Branching off of some of the conversations from last week, and just building on to more. Is this the great American compromise? We're talking a little bit about utilitarianism. Talking about individual happiness versus collective future. It's a bunch of ways that we're gonna split it, but before we get there, we got a fire panel. It is the guys. Right now, we are the three horsemen. Hopefully, A Black will join us in a little bit with a t-shirt on. Going to the right, we have G. Talk to him, brother.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the GSH podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and forget about everything else. Check it out wherever you get your pods. Just search GSHPOD. Hi.
All right. And to his right, a third of the To Be Fair Show, host of the To Be Fair Show. Johnny, talk to him, brother.
Hey, what's going on, man? Glad to be back. Yeah, like I said, we got another good one lined up. Y'all, y'all buckle up and we're gonna get to it.
Enjoy the ride. All right, so we've kind of skipped over icebreakers over the past few weeks, but obviously there is a big thing that happened today, or started today, I guess you would say, that impacts a lot of people. The government shutdown. I'm gonna push play on this meme, and then we can talk about it a little bit, and y'all can give some POV on y'all thoughts.
That are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. They're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. But they want to have illegal aliens come into our country and get massive health care at the cost to everybody else, and we don't have it. And that's I would say the number one reason that they want to strike is to get illegal immigrants health care.
I'm wondering how many people actually believe that. I'm afraid a lot do.
I think if you're told by the president and other networks,
it's a lie, and other networks will either repeat that lie,
or just let
and all their hosts will repeat that lie, and podcasters will repeat that lie all day. And Republicans will repeat that lie all day. When, as Willie said, it is illegal for illegal immigrants to get Medicare, to get Medicaid, to get Cadillac, as the president said, Cadillac health care coverage. It's just not true. It is completely false. An unambiguous lie going into this government shutdown. They're lying to their own supporters. They're lying to their own constituents. They're lying to their own followers saying Democrats want to shut down the government because they want to give great health care benefits to illegal immigrants. It's a total lie. So I'm wondering, where in the Bible does Mike Johnson read Jesus saying, you know what, tell the truth, except, well, when it might serve you well politically, and then just lie. And why don't you, while you're lying, why don't you?
So nonetheless, we ain't got to drag all the way through it. But fellas, the government has shut down anybody that is a non-essential government worker, to my understanding, has been furloughed. If you are an essential government worker, you got to report to the job, and the paycheck is just not coming right now. Fellas, what is your thoughts?
I mean, this has happened before, hasn't it? Where the government shut down.
Yeah, it was Donald Trump last term. They went for 30 days.
And that was the last time.
It was like 2018, 2019. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it was sucked to be a government employee. They just, like, I think they just got rid of a lot of them. So now they, probably gonna have even more of a workload and not even getting a paycheck. But yeah, I think, to me, I don't necessarily know how big a deal it is. Just right off the top, it's happened before. They just need to,
You know that they don't get paid at all, right?
But they got paid, like they get back pay when they do get paid.
Yeah,
that. But like, yeah, it do suck to work for. Trust me, I'm in sales. I done had a couple months that's been
gotcha.
Rough, But yeah, but I think, like, as far as like the regular citizen, I think life still goes on. But it sucks to be an employee.
Yeah, I think that as a part of this, a lot of these government programs get hit as well. And eventually, quote unquote, there's the ability to run out of money. But even when you don't, I think in the last one you had TSA, who is essential. They eventually kind of started doing the semi-strike thing, where then it completely started bogging up the airlines and that whole scenario. G, talk to us.
Yeah, man. Like, it's. I don't think it's a big deal per se in the grand scheme of things. It's just. I don't want to say it's just politics, but it's clearly a bunch of politicking trying to get political leverage. Each side trying to get leverage over the other. But I mean, just think about how important the federal government is to our everyday lives. Like, imagine if Amazon just said we shutting down because internally we don't agree on a strategy amongst leadership, or if Apple or Microsoft did the same thing and just said we shutting down. Like, what? It's crazy that the federal government can shut down and people will, find a way to accept that. But if Amazon shut down, it would be a crazy uproar. Or if Microsoft shut down, it'd be a crazy uproar. Same thing with Apple. So it's like, why do we accept this just lack of leadership in these positions? Like this, it shouldn't just be that, we don't agree, so now we're gonna, try and slice and dice and make this political theater at the expense of not just the folks who are going to potentially lose the benefits that they're talking about, but like you said, people aren't getting paychecks, and the federal government is one of the United States' largest employers. And so literally talk about something that's supposed to be taking care of your people. You're not putting your people at the forefront when you make decisions like this. Because again, like, what other major employee would we accept this from? We wouldn't. And so the government is just a shame that's what it is and what it's come to. But I do want to say one thing about illegal immigrants getting health care. I do think that what they say is true about quote unquote Medicaid, et cetera. But I think the caveat to that is,
what do you mean?
That they can't get, like, illegal aliens can't
get. Okay, all right, I got you.
True. But I think the caveat, as in terms of the workaround, is that they can't be denied at emergency rooms. I think is part of the conversation as it relates to.
Right, but I guess that still wouldn't fall on the government at all, though.
Well, if you're illegal and you go to if you're illegal and you go to the ER and they give you a bill and you don't pay, who pays that?
I don't know. Like, how, actually, how does that work? Is that not just like an unsolved? That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know that to fall on the government to pay it.
I don't know either.
That being like if I default on,
but even if it's not the government
on my
paying,
bill, on my medical bill, I don't think the government ends up paying that still.
I don't. But see, because they could do bankruptcy for you. They could put it on your credit and file it against their losses and do. But if you are giving services to an illegal, I don't know if you can like mess up their credit report.
Well, that's probably true, but I still don't see where that falls on the government. I don't think that the government falls in responsibility to pay.
But I think this is how it matters, though. Like, I mean, like these big corporations, like United Healthcare and all of these things, there are ramifications for these things where they'll start denying claims. They'll start like they do. Like, they're not just going to lose that kind of money, give that healthcare for free, and not make adjustments that do affect the consumer. Like, and I think that's the issue, where when they do that, you get price raises, you get everything, where they are going to make up those losses. The government might not pay for it, but somebody is going to end up, footing the bill for those losses. And then those companies eventually are going to lobby, and they're going to, try to
but I guess right now we're talking about like the issue of the government shutdown is based around healthcare, and the Republicans allegedly they're saying that the illegals is getting healthcare, and the Dems is like, that's illegal. They're not getting healthcare. They're not getting Medicaid. They're not getting any of those things. And so the shutdown is based over funding for the healthcare, apparatus in general. But I guess like if what G is saying is true, I still don't see where that falls on a government program like Medicaid or Medicare, or how that would fit into the budget either. I guess you get what I'm saying.
So I mean, what does the budget? What does the budget?
Every hospital is not privately funded. Is like one factor there, right? So it's like I don't know how hospitals work in terms of funding and stuff like that. But like I said, all I'm simply saying is I think where another counter to this argument of where they can't legally get the service is that, but they find quote unquote loopholes to get served is like one of the arguments out there. Now, as that relates to the budget, it's like, yeah, that's a fair question, but I'm just sharing that. I think that's an argument that I've heard out there.
And I get that, in which, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things, and maybe I have a more extreme stance on that, but I guess them stopping the government shutdown still doesn't solve that. Those illegals can still get the
that's money. True.
Like I don't know. It doesn't seem like.
But that's what like.
So, go ahead, Johnny.
I mean, I think they just wanted to shut down because, like I say, because like the funding, like the money that they're arguing about, if it's not going to pay the illegals, or then so what does the money that they're allowing this funding? Who is it going to benefit?
Say that one.
I'm saying like if the money they're talking about like isn't going to illegal immigrants, they're arguing about that. Who is benefiting from that funding? Like who takes advantage?
Well, I don't know if it's not a made up problem. In my opinion, like I get what G was saying, where why do we allow bad leadership? I don't know if this is specifically bad leadership as much as it's like leverage plays. In Donald Trump specifically, which is who we've seen the government shut down under in both scenarios, the last two scenarios, he exercises leverage as if he's inside of, a business negotiation. And to me, that's what this seems like it is.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, if it definitely, but yeah, it does. It's a disservice to the American, especially the American workers, the people in the government, and the American citizen. I definitely think they be childish with the shit as far as like working together. Like as far as like they are clearly like not working for the best interests of the people, and they got corporate interests and they got other interests they're working for outside of like what's best for the American people. I think that's the worst part.
When this conversation was happening months ago, there were a lot of Democratic leadership talking about we can't allow government to shut down with Trump being president. So I just don't understand the change in philosophy if you stood on that a few months ago.
But I don't think that they wanted, according to like the videos and stuff that I seen, it still didn't look like they wanted it to happen. It was even in Congress
But Chuck Schumer, the whatever, I forget his official title, but the guy who was kind of like the face of why it didn't shut down, he kind of was the tip of the spear. Pause. They were blaming Chuck Schumer for why the government didn't shut down last time. Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
So Chuck Schumer is pro shutting down this time, is what I'm saying. And so,
but I guess, isn't it because of, in general, the issue is that the bill that the right wants to actually pass, it cuts it cuts a lot of the entitlement programs almost like by half. Like it reduces it a lot, to where the impact to my, and again, like, this is my loose understanding. I'm not like super well read in research, but from my understanding, the big split is on the actual bill, in which the Republicans want a bill that does hyper reduce the amount of people that can be on, or that can receive healthcare services and SNAP benefits and a bunch of different things like that, where that ends up being way more of a harder line for the Democrats than maybe the last government shutdown.
They are trying to tie it to like insurance premiums and pricing and affordability is what the Democrats are arguing. Correct.
Yeah, to my understanding, I think it's supposed to like double, like it's like a bunch of people are supposed to get off of it, and then it's going to double the cost of medical care.
And so my question is just simply, given what the shutdown means in terms of the power that the president holds strategically, that hasn't changed either. So if you're shut down and you're worried about losing certain things, the president now has no obstruction in terms of making certain decisions that will be very tough for them to reverse if he goes that route, like he was saying out loud.
And I'm more so asking for enlightenment. What are some of the things that he can do that would be irreversible, that will be worse than, I guess, the proposed idea that insurance premiums could double for a lot of people that were already in need of healthcare?
He can make all that. So you remember like how he was talking about cutting the Department of Education at one point?
Yeah, the furlough workers, he can kind of cut them.
So exactly. So like anything non-essential, that where all these people are laid off, you talk about making government cuts, he could in theory just cut the budget on a lot of these programs out there, in theory.
Gotcha.
To my understanding, he has the power to do that while the government is shut down. And I'm not saying it's irreversible. What I'm saying is that it's
just think it'd be idiotic if he did it.
It's if he chooses to go a certain route to reverse that would be like a tremendous effort in itself. It's like you're gonna create another boogeyman that you're gonna have to take down. Potentially.
The other boogie. Well, I guess I don't know. Again, I'm learning as we talking, but it would seem, in my opinion, if he cut all of, like, if he did that specific thing, because again, more than anything, it just sounds like a Trump leverage play. Like, hey, I could do all these things. It's like the mob boss business negotiation talk. But if he actually cut all these furloughed workers, like, these aren't bleeding Democrats at all. That's inside all the.
I don't disagree with that. I think that.
It would be like what's the term about like cutting your nose to spite your face? I don't think that it would be favorable, and it could do irreparable damage to the Republican Party moving forward for the primaries and the election.
But you could argue that's what he's been doing since he's been president.
I don't argue that, and but right now we've seen MAGA start to turn against him.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I get it. And what I'm saying is that if he did that, I just think it'd be really dumb of him. And it would play bad for Republicans to where, like, I think that they'll start pushing even further away from it.
So look, strategically, I don't disagree, but that's the dilemma. And that's the thing, I guess maybe the Democrats are betting on, that strategically he shouldn't do it at this phase, where earlier months ago, maybe strategically he could have did it and it would have been a part of his like rollout and agenda. But the reality is that the things that they pointed out as to why they shouldn't shut down are still at play. So let's see what happens if and how long the government stays shut down, how Trump uses that quote unquote that leverage.
I think this. I'm not mad at the Democrats calling this bluff. I guess I'll definitely say that.
If even if premium spike, that's bad damage too. Like let's say everybody healthcare cost does double. That doesn't do him or the Republicans any favors either.
Yeah, but I guess if we was to compare and contrast, which one would be harder to reverse? A change inside the budget, inside that manner, or furloughed workers?
I don't know.
And I imagine that's probably where they're probably hedging their bets at, where one could be bad, but one can be a lot worse. And I think he's just bluffing. But who knows? Shout out to Chuck. What did Chuck say? Chuck said the shutdown is political gamesmanship. It's a tactical manipulation and an ethically dubious method to undermine democratic principles and create partisan gridlock and weaponize the budget. Fair enough. All right. Any closing remarks on this?
No.
We'll see how long it lasts. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I got G. He threw us a couple bones inside the Discord chat. So G, I'm gonna click play on this, and then I'll let you introduce the conversation.
All right. Can't hear it.
We can't hear it yet. Hold on.
In Q2, when tariffs were actually lower than they were last quarter, you operated at a loss despite record revenues because you took $800 million in tariff charges in Q2 when tariffs were actually lower than they were now. What are your conversations like right now with the administration?
On tariffs, the biggest issue is the $2 billion bill that we have for our imported parts. And because we make the most in the U.S., we import the most parts. Our discussions with Washington are really clear. We both agree, let's strengthen U.S. companies like Ford that are better than America. We have more UAW jobs than anyone, but don't penalize us for trying to make the vehicle affordable. And, originally they were thinking that there would be high tariffs for finished automotive vehicles. 50% of all vehicles bought in the U.S. are imported through a port or through a rail across a border. Now the standard tariff, it looks like it's going to be about 15%, 12.5% from Japan. And that's not a fair fight. We're just asking for a fair fight. So look, if you're going to allow people to import with 15% tariffs, that includes their parts in the vehicle at 15% tariffs, but you put a 50 or 60%, 70% tariff on our aluminum or steel that goes into our US made vehicle, hey, let's work on something, a process for, tariff relief that would allow us to do that and still make the vehicles affordable.
If you are a conventional,
so I wanted to share that because just we talked about tariffs and the effects, and this is one of the quote unquote great American companies of our generations. Like it's Ford, it's an American icon, if you will, and
they saved us in World War II.
And a big talk about these tariffs was making America manufacturing great. And you had record revenues, but had to operate at a loss because you ate the tariffs. Pause. Now, that's crucial. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that's good press for it as a CEO. He's like, not only did we have record revenues, we operate at a loss because we're taking these tariffs. We did that for a whole quarter. Like, I mean, if you're one of those people who try to support like your own, so to speak, from a American made, I think that is a good commercial for them to incentivize people to say, hey, look, support this type of brand if you considering buying a vehicle. That aside, the business of it, the fact that he even talked about how the Japanese tariff is just 12.5%, but yet Japan is one of the biggest car markets in America with Toyota, Mazda, Lexus, like Honda's China. But these are some of the biggest sales when you look at popularity in the States. They're often Toyota and Lexus. That they tend to be towards the top. So you make it easier for them to come in with a 12% tariff to compete with American companies that have to pay even more just for the parts. It's like, this is just something I wanted to share because it's like, what are y'all? It's like you hearing a real CEO talking about how they're operating at record revenues, but taking losses because of these tariffs. How do y'all think that's going to sustain over the next year, going into next year?
Oh, I think he in my opinion, it sounded like he was speaking not inside like a very happy, from a happy space, I guess you would say. And what he said at the end was like pretty much give us a fighting chance. Like we're eating this, we're making more money, but it costs more in general. And like recently, I've gotten a couple quotes from just different manufacturers for different shit, and it's interesting because it like they spoke, and these are like different fields and different materials, but they spoke how shit's just going up right now because of the tariffs. So it's becoming more expensive. It's becoming more of it's becoming more of a thing. And like I think everybody right now is still waiting to see the benefit of the tariffs. Like I don't know it to make sense yet. And like what he said, there has to be something that happens to where the government either has to do like a Tesla and hyper subsidize American companies, or like it doesn't make sense because of the companies are getting hit too many times when it comes down to these tariffs to even make profit, even when they're selling at their record-breaking moments. So like imagine when you're not hitting your highs. Imagine when the market starts to recede, starts to regress, and people are just like, well, actually, I'm gonna just ride out this 4-year car this 4-year-old car, 5-year-old, 7-year-old car, instead of reading up on this investment and getting a new car. That'd be my take.
And Johnny, before you jump in there, I'm curious because you actually are in that field. Like, how have you seen just people's taste for cars change here recently with some of the tariff and the impacts?
I mean, the new cars, they always gonna go up and down, but it depends on the manufacturer. And like you see, like there's certain manufacturers that do roll that on to the consumer. I think it does have a lot to do with your position in the brand and in the products that you're offering, because there are products people will pay a little more for. There are products where people are really price conscious on. So I think that has a lot to do with whether you're, rolling over, this cost increase to the consumer. The quality of your products do matter, but I definitely think the domestic brands have always had an uphill challenge, and I don't think Trump is doing them any favors. I will say Ford is on the leading edge as far as they do sell a lot of cars. As far as those trucks, the F-150s are like some of the most popular, and they're very cutting edge on a lot of their electric technology, which I think is where they're leaning into and looking more to the future. I think they're willing to kind of take the L right now, because they were already, even before this, were kind of look towards a pivot. They've got rid of all their like sedans and all of that, so they were already a company in the middle of a pivot. So I think they're willing to hold an L more so than a lot of other brands. But that's a dangerous game to play if you're Trump, as far as like not everybody's gonna be able to withstand the storm, and you might have to hold that L if you Trump too. So dangerous game.
Nah, I dig it. I think that these tariffs. I can't remember if G was. I feel like you was a wait and see guy with the tariffs at first.
Yeah,
we had some other people that was fairly strong on like they about to stick it to them. This is gonna be the thing, and I guess we're all still waiting for the thing to happen. Trump also did come out and say it's gonna be bad before it gets good, and I think that it's gonna be interesting to see if the American people care to see things be really bad before it becomes good. That's the best I can say. Any closing thoughts, remarks, commentary?
I'm good.
All right, fellas. I guess we did about 30 minutes in icebreakers. This would be a good time to start segueing our way into the conversation. So before we hop completely into the conversation, I think it'd be fun to listen to the definition of utilitarianism and then do a quick thought experiment afterward. But I'll push play on just a quick breakdown, and we'll kind of move from there.
The belief that right or wrong depends on the outcome of the action. Many have linked the emergence of utilitarianism with ism. Utilitarianism is the belief that right or wrong depends on the outcome. Utilitarianism is the belief that right or wrong depends on the outcome of the action. Many have linked the emergence of utilitarianism with Jeremy Bentham. However, older literature has shown to share the same idea and philosophy as utilitarianism. Utilitarianism weighs an individual ethical choice on the scale of how much good the choice produces. Hence, it asserts that the most ethical choice a person could make is the one that generates the greatest goods. It aims to promote the maximization of benefit towards society and minimizing suffering. This has shaped public policies as it tries to work for the greater good of society, even if it comes with a cost. One of the limitations of utilitarianism is that, since we are unable to predict the future, we cannot know for certain whether our actions will be good or bad.
So, saying all those things to say, just putting inside the mindset of the collective good versus the individual. And
it's more about outcome than intent, right?
Or best outcomes versus personal freedoms. We'll segue over to, this is a very common, if any of y'all have taken ethics examples, it's the trolley example that speaks to morality and some utilitarian principles. I'll push play and then let it get y'all opinion on what y'all would choose.
Acceptable to kill one person in order to save? Is it morally acceptable to kill one person in order to save 5 others? Hello everyone, and welcome to the 20th episode from the TikTok School of Philosophy, and in today's episode we are going to be exploring a fascinating moral dilemma known as the trolley problem. So strap in, because we're about to navigate through some ethical twists and turns. Now imagine you're standing by a set of train tracks and you see a runaway trolley hurtling down the line. Now ahead of you, 5 people are tied to the track, unable to escape. It's a horrifying scenario, but here is where the dilemma arises. Right next to you, there is a lever. If you pull it, the trolley will switch to another track. However, there is a twist. On that track, there's one person who is also tied down and unable to escape. Now here's the question. What would you do? Or moreover, what is the right thing to do? Would you pull the lever, diverting the trolley and saving 5 lives, but causing the death of 1? Or would you choose not to intervene and let the trolley continue on its current path, resulting in the death of 5 people? This famous thought experiment raises important ethical considerations, and philosophers have offered different perspectives on how to approach and solve the trolley problem. So let's explore a few of them. Utilitarianism suggests that the morally right action is the one that maximizes overall happiness or well-being. So from a utilitarian standpoint, you might argue that pulling the lever is the right choice, as it saves more lives and minimizes overall harm. On the other hand, deontologists focus on moral duty and principles. They might argue that pulling the lever would be an act of directly causing harm to an innocent person, violating the principle of treating individuals as ends in themselves rather than simply a means to an end. Virtue ethicists would emphasize the development of moral character and personal virtues. They might approach the trolley problem by considering how one's decision reflects virtues like courage, compassion, or justice.
But nonetheless, I think that those two theories are a really good, quote unquote, philosophical underpinning of the conversation we're going to kind of have. But the trolley example, again, it's the idea of doing what's collectively good, and or if your moral principles kind of can fall in line with that. What are y'all thoughts? Are you pulling a lever and that saves 5 people, but you have actually killed one person and you killed that person? Or do you allow nothing to happen and those 5 people die and that one person just be chilling on that train track? And again, you can't, like, the important part of this is that you can't add more parts to the scenario but what's given.
Yeah, but Because at the end of the day,
there you go. You about to add something.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, depending on who is the 5 and the 1 is gonna make my determination here at the end of the day. So we talking 5 men, we talking 5 men, and if 1 man off to the side, BBLs. Like all equals.
But right here, let's and this is what I'm saying. Like I think that typically there's further thought experiments that goes with that leads you down different roads. I don't know if we want to get into like some like deep ethical philosophy rabbit holes, but generally speaking, this is like if all things are equal. So like these are all black men of the highest standard,
warrior class,
and that you don't know, but these are all like fire, moral, God-fearing great men, and there's 5 of them here, and you could say 5 of them, but you kill this one. Do you do
no, so for me,
I got my answer.
Okay.
Yeah, can I get an answer, and then can we talk about some more context as well, like to just unpack a little bit? Pause.
I'm trying to kill some dark skinned niggas, bro.
Let's get our
all things equal. All things equal. I'm not interjecting.
Okay, so for you, it's the moral principle of I'm not going to actually actively kill somebody.
Yeah, I'm not about to. All things.
It saves 5 people.
All things equal. You said all things equal, and so if it's just all equal, I'm not. It's not my. It's not my business.
Okay, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm a Deion Sanditologist or whatever they call it. I'm I mean, like all things equal, I would never want to do something like that I knew would cause somebody's death or like cause somebody harm. So as much as I would like love to save somebody, I wouldn't be able to live like knowing that like I did the thing that ended up causing somebody harm. So that would be on like just for my own selfish reasons alone, damn near. Like I just probably wouldn't be able to do something that could like end up in somebody else being harmed, even if it was to save other people. But if it was to hurt somebody, I just like, and that's kind of just on just some selfish, just like I wouldn't want to live with the fact that like I caused somebody harm, and when we probably where I'd be at it for sure.
And when we talk about this idea of 1 person being better than 5, that's not even necessarily true. The math don't always math like that. When you talk about,
I think that what you mean,
like this idea that because you save 5 people versus 1 mean you did the society a better good. That's not necessarily true.
Yes, it's not necessarily true,
and you still cause harm to society.
But if all things are equal, the idea would be that the collective good that does better for all people would be better than a collective or like a sacrifice of doing bad to 1 person. That's the moral kind of like dilemma that once you extrapolate it leads us into the conversation of personal sacrifice versus doing what's good for the collective. You can break it down so many different ways when it comes down to like American society, Black culture, and like if y'all understand this, but
I just would have to be convinced that it's better for the collective.
You would have to be convinced. If right now,
if it was, you'd be willing to hurt somebody.
I mean, look, I think you got to be willing to hurt people. That's a part of life. It's like you're gonna put the pause on somebody at some point, whether it be to defend yourself, a loved one.
Yeah, somebody that deserve it, but you'd be willing to hurt an innocent person.
Hey, look, if I see my loved one, so that's what I'm saying. If I'm looking at them 5 and my
you don't know none of them, you don't know none of them.
But that's what I'm saying.
You don't know none of them. You just assuming that like these 5 are gonna be better versus the 1, and you still you'd be willing to kill.
I'm not making that assumption. If I don't know none of them, I'm not intervening.
So as a trained operator.
But if you did know they would be better, you'd be willing to hurt somebody innocent.
If you know that they would be better is a different question versus me knowing who's on the tracks.
Right, and it starts to alleviate the actual ethical dilemma. The idea is that if you're a trained operator and you know these 2 situations occur, you're kind of going in blindfolded, and it's do I do what's going to save more lives? Or do I personally,
So what if it's like 5 white girls and then a sister off to the side? Johnny, what you gonna do? You gonna pull that?
I got to.
You ain't strong Rock Hill boy.
I got to.
But you gonna pull the trigger and take your sister out? Is what you saying?
Nah. Oh no, I'm not. No, the 5. Oh yeah, no, I'm letting it ride.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm letting it ride. We saving. Yeah, I'm letting it ride.
All right, word.
What if she's 23?
I'm letting it ride. Chill, bro. I ain't even get to tell you the whole story about that. Like, chill. I'm like, them people already gonna ask you about that. Like, chill.
Oh man.
That was just the weekend, bro. We out of there.
Oh, it was just the weekend. All right. So I guess as we again, it sounded like both of y'all were saying to like that you wouldn't be willing to make the personal sacrifice for the quote unquote collective good. Inside that specific blind moral dilemma. So now as we start like talking about America, we'll just start at America. If we're just putting this inside the context of this, and then we're going to go down some different conversations that lands it wherever we can kind of land at. But where are you at when it comes to America? And then we'll talk about Black America after that. Are you willing to sacrifice personal gain for the collective good? And should we sacrifice personal for the collective?
Like, so I think there's a way. So I think the answer is yes, but that doesn't mean extreme necessarily, right? Like for example, like, do I pay a premium to work with Black entrepreneurs sometimes, even though I could get it cheaper other places? That's a personal sacrifice to me financially to support Black business. So I think there are conscious things that you can do that is a sacrifice that doesn't necessarily put you completely at risk, if that makes sense. I think at the end of the day, you want to make sure you got food on the table. You know, if you're struggling to go check for check and you really can't afford to do certain things, like, you got to do what you got to do to survive. But even then, that doesn't mean you can't sacrifice some of your time to donate to certain things in the community. So I just think you got to find where you can make those sacrifices and be happy knowing that that's where you can afford to make those sacrifices versus feeling guilted into giving up things that you can't afford.
So in essence, it sounds like you're saying that I don't know if this is also for America. You specifically talk about Black America, but we should sacrifice for the greater good some of our individual happiness. If that's paying a premium, which means that maybe you can't get the crispy bacon, you got to get the like the little floppy bacon,
little soggy shit. You get that soggy shit. Get shit out of here.
Oh man,
see, Johnny ain't willing to sacrifice it. We coming to you in a second. That's what you're saying though. The greater good should like we should sacrifice some individual happiness for the greater.
Yeah, like that. Like I think like taxes, for example. Like that's an example of a sacrifice that I think people should make. Like, people attack capitalism, but you really need to attack the tax structure and the tax system. That's the thing that makes capitalism so nasty, is that you got these corporations that don't pay into what they owe based off of the monies that they generate. If corporations actually paid their just due in taxes like regular citizens, like, it would be a completely different ball game. But that's not what happens in reality. So imagine if that were the case, where everybody made that sacrifice, not just individuals, but also the corporate oligarchs.
That's a fair point. If you understand like the corporate tax structure and all the loopholes that they all brag about getting out of
and lobby to put in place.
American, the American entitlement program system in the basement would rise naturally, in my opinion. That's a great point. I like that take, even though a communist. What's Steve at? Steve.
Yeah, Steve. I know.
Like he would argue more the opposite still, in that the system of capitalism is forcing the taxes, and we ain't got to get into this. Isn't socialism versus capitalism.
Trickle down economics.
But Johnny, talk to us. Should Americans sacrifice individual happiness for the collective greater good? What is your thoughts?
I mean, I think some
You wasn't willing to do it for the trolley. Are you willing to do it for the American person?
I wouldn't. That ain't had nothing to do with my happiness. I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. But this is totally different.
It was a personal sacrifice. That's the idea of it.
It would be sacrificing somebody else. That wouldn't be. That's where I look at it different. Like, I mean, there was somebody else on the track, not me. That wasn't my happiness. It was a person on the track, not me.
It's the idea of sacrificing for the collective good. So it puts it at extremes that really drive out what might be your actual moral perspective.
Okay, well, like that. Okay, cool. I pay my taxes. I try to obey like most of the laws, and like I think there are sacrifices I will do like as a citizen because like I think like that's
I see where this is going. Okay,
like that's what like that's all America asks of you. Like they like I mean and like even like the people who go and fight for like our country, they get paid to do it. It's not like a
you would sacrifice more for them veterans that's on the street.
Like sacrifice what? Like I let them get the veterans.
Yeah, like more.
I ain't gonna take their parking lot.
Taxing more your income, giving more of your money back to the collective American to raise.
Like I said, there's certain things I'd be willing to pay more taxes for. Like I say, like for sure, like taxes is something that I would pay taxes. But if it's something that I personally like, why would I pay more for like universal health care if I couldn't partake in the universal health care?
Why wouldn't you if it's universal health care?
But I would like for if it's something that would benefit me, I'm willing to pay more taxes. And if it's something that I can see actually helps people, but there are a lot of social programs that we end up paying more taxes for
so would
that
you
don't necessarily benefit, and that's why.
Would you
I don't want to
sacrifice half of your income or like your taxable income right now if it raised the basement for all other Americans?
Nah, I'm good. That's like half. I'm good. Like no, I just pay my taxes.
But he said half of your taxable, not your gross. So you can get that taxable down. Pause. You can get it. That can be.
He said half though, bro.
But he said half of your taxable.
All right. So if we don't play the Donald Trump tax game, just saying half of your taxable income, but what it leads to is no homelessness. And the basement for what everybody in society feels. So now everybody has some level of food, shelter, healthcare, all the essentials. You're not willing. Okay.
No, because I mean, selfish. Yeah, hell no. Because like that's it's gonna inhibit my ability to take care of my family and do the things that I want to do for myself. Half of my income.
Yeah, but what would it inhibit if it allows for you to have free health care, make sure that you have food and housing?
I mean, I got all of that now, and I can put a little. But I also think like it's half, like because I definitely do think there are people that are going to exploit the system. There are people that aren't going to work as hard as me. There are people that are not going to put in the effort that I do. So I think like, of course, like I mean, I'm not half.
You ain't trying to help nobody that ain't work as hard.
So you didn't pass the homework either, bro. You didn't pass the homework either, huh?
You say what?
You didn't pass the homework either.
Oh, if it's test day, I'll pass it. But you ain't gonna. I'll take some test answers. I might got you, but not the homework. You gotta do your homework. You gotta do. I might give you some test answers, but you gotta do your homework.
You're actually not really for the collective good. Okay. So in essence, really what it sounds like is that you're willing to only sacrifice what doesn't actually really impact you. And if you actually had to do something that impacted people,
that don't sound like a sacrifice.
Yeah, that impacted people greatly, but it was at a sacrifice to you. You wouldn't be willing for the greater good.
For the American people in general, as a whole. That's what I was answering there. Now we can get a little, then we might, but like we're talking about for the.
Let's talk about it. All right,
the whole America, but like
G, I'd love for you to answer that part first, and then we'll go into another scenario.
All right, so answer what part specifically? Because I did want to add on to something he said. We was talking about the programs
for the greater good. If we raise the basement, we have no no homelessness. Everybody has shelter. Everybody has Medicaid. Everybody has some level of food. Would you be willing to sacrifice half of your income to be able to raise the basement on all American people?
In theory, I think so.
Okay.
In theory, I think so. But I would need to look at the list of the programs because I wouldn't agree with all programs. And so like
just use those three as like
questions.
But with that, I would need a little more. I would need a little more, and I would need a little more. So because for example, like we're not talking free higher education. We're not talking free healthcare. We're not talking free
public transit.
We just talked free. Like one of the things was free healthcare, for all people.
So let me lay it. If we got all those things, including healthcare, higher education, and I think the sleeper, man. I think the sleeper
before because like you're adding more on. Right now, let's just stay here. We're just staying with like these three essential.
So what's the three things I get for half my joint? Pause.
Like you have shelter, medical, and food.
Got all of
for all people. Not like so. This is for all people. Even if you have it, this
not those three things. Not those three things. No.
Oh, okay.
Not those three things. Because I feel like for those three things, the programs that exist are just fine.
Okay, so what is
AQ?
Because like they got SNAP, or you can get food stamps for food if you don't make a certain amount of money. You can get housing if you don't make a certain amount of money. So it's like we have some services already with the taxes we pay that address some of those. I'm looking to fill gaps that I feel like aren't even being addressed. If I'm going to be giving up half, like I need more.
Would you give up half for that?
Yeah, for sure would. I don't even think that it's like a thing to really question in my.
And would that mean you wouldn't be able to own your home too when we say housing?
Like what is me having to own my home have to do with anything?
I'm asking, would that be included when we talk about
would
providing
you still
housing?
be able to afford the lifestyle that you're living right now?
Would you be able to own property, or would it just be owned by the state?
Nobody's brought inside communism or socialism.
But if you provide housing, I'm asking, is there still a private market
buying
for it?
Power goes down.
So again, y'all two are like making two different statements. So I'm gonna address what G is saying right now. What we're talking about would be government subsidies that help people that are homeless into where that you wouldn't have any version of like homelessness. Inside this theoretical thing, you should still be able to own your own home and land. But what you will be looking at is, some version of housing, community housing that allots each person a space, a room, its own thing. So that wouldn't impact me owning.
So not like permanent housing universally. So not universal housing, just housing for the homeless specifically is what you're talking about.
People that don't literally have housing. Making it the basement of America has been raised to where, like, no matter what, I think that maybe there's even inside like the Scandinavian countries, they say that they have a higher level of entrepreneurship because the people aren't scared to fail. Because of the basement is so high that failing, you're still going to be able to sustain and live a life. And it pushes for more entrepreneurship and whatever innovation, that's the word. So for me personally, like I also don't think that you should be able to make like $1 billion trillion. Like I think that having decent caps on things helps the collective good, and helping the collective good helps most of the things that come out of scarcity, like crime, like poverty, like death, murder, like all the crazy things that we don't like. If we help raise the collective basement, I think that a lot of these things are helped, not alleviated.
Let me just throw a number out. According to the 2025 State of Homelessness report, about, let's just round it up, we can say 800,000 people, it's a little less than 800,000 people were experiencing homelessness on a given January night, sheltered plus unsheltered in the U.S.
Okay.
About 23 people per 10,000 Americans. So given that that's the percentage of individuals we're providing the housing from, that would require half of my individual salary for that percentage of individuals to find adequate housing.
Well, I named 3 things. So if that was a part of it, yes.
Okay, so housing for the homeless.
Housing for everybody.
Everybody.
I got a question though. Like, if you're giving up half your income, wouldn't that naturally like bring down like your buying power? And like, so like, if you're able to stay in this neighborhood before you give up half, that's gonna naturally like bring down like your standard.
Not if
of living.
everybody's buying power gets cut in half.
But you keep saying everybody, but not everybody.
So the basement would be that there's no homelessness. That would include everybody in there. You can still own your own house.
So, but it doesn't. But the program wouldn't pay for everybody's housing. It would just pay for housing for those who didn't afford it on their own. Correct.
So then you would have less to pay for your own housing.
All right. So again, John, like y'all are like literally asking different things. And like I'll answer all your questions, but like what G is asking, you're saying like, so how we want to like semanticize it. I'm saying what you're saying. Like if you're caught on the idea of me saying housing for everybody, I'm saying that the basement would be that everybody has housing, not specifically government given housing for everybody.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So then it would be about just under 800,000 people that would benefit from that.
Okay.
Stipulation.
And I'm cool for that, for the greater good of people. The other thing that I said, oh my bad, Johnny, you said something about housing, and
but like if you give up like for 800,000 people, you give up like half of your income, then you can't buy like the same house that you could buy.
So what do you think happens if all people give up half their income? What is the buying power of all people?
It's going. I think everybody's standard of living goes down.
I think that would be
the market would adjust in theory. In theory, the market would adjust to the what the market can bear. In theory,
right. And what we're talking about would be the difference between individual sacrifice and collective good. And again, obviously, I would be willing to sacrifice some, especially again, like if it full stop, we were talking homelessness and that's it. No, I wouldn't be. But then, all right. So the next thing that I said was like medical for everybody, free medical, universal health care.
Okay.
I am completely okay with giving up half my income for everybody to be able to be seen and have proper service for whatever the ailments and issues in America is. Like I'm completely cool with giving up half
without going bankrupt is the key.
I don't understand.
Because like that's the issue with our program with the healthcare is that you might be able to get the service, but the bill was so crazy because you didn't have insurance. Now your whole financial life is in shambles, and you got to do bankruptcy, and your credit's fucked up, and you can't do other things.
Like universal healthcare would mean that everybody gets it for free,
or very, very low.
All right, so this version of universal healthcare that I'm speaking of will be free healthcare. Let's just say free healthcare.
So you just walk in, walk out.
Yes.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
And that includes prescriptions.
Yes.
Etc.
Subsidized by like you said, the billionaires, and the average person giving up half their income.
Okay.
Is there a drop in quality of healthcare from now and then, or
no? To me, if everybody gets it, inside this, like if we can add more variables if you want, but right now, if we're just speaking flat on his face, again. Healthcare, and then the last one would be food. I think that if everybody has the ability to purchase and have the essentials, this doesn't mean that everybody needs to get steak, shrimp, and all these things, but like the actual real food, I think that I am for giving up half my income for those things personally.
And when you say, so let's just say for food, right? Mm-hmm. Would that be for all citizens getting like a certain level or basement of just food brought to them on a weekly cadence or twice a week type of drop?
It's a
or would it just be for the needy?
It's 1,000 ways to sparse it, but if we're thinking about like everybody being able to have access to, like for example, if you look at elementary schools or in like schools in general, the biggest indicators of kids doing well is if they're hungry. And then it's like something weird like air conditioning and shit like that. But the things and the issues that come with a lot of low income spaces, like kids being hungry, kids don't pay attention, kids act out, and kids do bad. This is why there's such a big push for free and reduced lunches inside Title I schools. Like these things have like really, really direct correlations. And my thing would be, I would want at minimum all people that are under a specific level to have subsidies to where they can afford said things. Like this being the essentials. Again, it don't have to be a bunch of sugar or anything like that. Whatever, like your EBT card, like right now we got WIC. If you've been a woman, if you've had a woman, infant, and child, like there's certain things you can buy with WIC and certain things you can't. And I am cool with that. But the idea of like a basement where kids don't have to go to school hungry, I am completely for that.
So I agree with that.
I'm not anti. I'm pro.
You go to shake your head the whole time. Go. You could be the Grinch for a second, but
I'm not pro kids going hungry. Like I think the kids should have food, but 50% is a lot, especially with government inefficiency, how much corruption comes in place. I think
none of that has to do with this scenario right now. Again, and we're not only isolating one of these things. I think that.
So
I gave a three. Like these three things, would you be willing?
I would say,
that's cool, but
based off of those three things, I would say, and how it was framed, I would say that's not worth me giving up half personally.
Okay.
But I do agree that like food should be free at school, right? Like I agree with that. I think one of the universal programs that would make me lean into that is if we had, as a country, universal childcare, which would include nutrition and food and bare minimums for the kids that didn't necessarily ask to be in any of these predicaments.
Some countries that have that too.
And so I feel like universal childcare, universal healthcare, and are two, like if those two are in the conversation, I'm listening.
If we just add universal childcare.
Universal childcare, universal healthcare makes me listen to the conversation. And
how about, because I think that the easier way to splice that would just be if you just say UBI, because of that allows for a person to stay at home if they want.
So I wouldn't say UBI, because if from a universal childcare perspective, it wouldn't necessarily be that I'm giving you the money to go pay for that childcare. There would be places where you can take your child that are fun, like it's like universal healthcare. You're not giving them money to spend it at whatever hospital they want. They choose a hospital available and they go get the service. Similar with universal childcare. I would have these things available and then they go get the service.
I get it, but I guess like it's two ways to slice the same exact conversation. Well, one with universal basic income. It would eliminate the need for said mother to have to go work for those resources that would leave her to not be able to watch her kid, in which then most people argue that the mother should be raising the kid inside the first 5 years instead of pushing them to another child care service space where a stranger is raising them. So it would allot that. But then also the universal housing would do that as well. Universal,
But you didn't say universal housing. You said for the homeless.
So if you don't have housing, you would then have housing. I don't really.
No, because think about, all right. So let's say, for example, everybody really did cut their or increase their taxes double, and there was universal housing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much equity millions of Americans would lose in their homes because of that decision?
Why would they lose equity?
Because the market to buy those homes would crash.
Right. But that's again, that's a collective. To me, like that's a sacrifice for collective good. Like,
I know that's a huge sacrifice. That's a huge sacrifice.
And I think again, it speaks to the principle once we get into like a lot of these other things that we say that we before that if you're not willing to sacrifice like some version of like a pampered life, like right now, like if you need all this equity inside your house, typically it's planning to make sure that you're good for a worser time or for generations.
But do you know what happens when
if you can guarantee better times and future generations good, that your future generations are good? I don't know how much the equity necessarily needs.
But if you have a mortgage with a financial institution, that mortgage is based off of the value of the home. If at any point the value of your home is worth less than what, like you're in the red, you don't have equity, the property itself is in the red, meaning you couldn't even pay off this mortgage if you sold it on the market. At that point, that financial institution is just going to call in the loan, and you'll be forced to pay. And
but I think that you're also speaking about the market and mortgage as is, like inside this hyper fictitious scenario. There's going to be so many other like variables that are at work, where there's also going to be a commodification of actually owning your house as well. That then means pushes value up. There's also going to be a halfway cut into like personal income, which, as you just spoke to, like the market will have to adjust. Like there's a bunch of things that where owning land that is actually yours will become valuable if like there is more public land instead of like individual ownership. There's a lot of things that still pushes to where owning would still make a lot of sense.
Can I hop in there? Now, I think like because here's my point with it. Like, I see what G was saying, but what I would say is like instead of 50%, I'd do 30% for what you was talking about. I think that sounds about right. Of like my income,
that bread
for 30% increase, because you already pay about. You mean talking about increase or
no?
Like
I'm talking
total
about.
taxes?
I think
no. Going to give out 30% of his income.
In a perfect world, I think Americans, if everybody paid 30% across the board, I think there would be more than enough money. I think whether we had to like reduce militaries.
So are you saying everybody paid 30% more, or everybody paid 30%?
30% across the board, not more. 30%.
Oh, he's talking about paying less taxes, not more.
Everybody paying 30. I'm trying to think everybody, but hey, let me get in there. Let me get in there, because like, why should I pay more when it's people that are taking military and government spending and like the inefficiency where, like, you know how much money our government spends, where if we cut that in half, we could pay for a lot of the things that we're
not
talking
willing to sacrifice anything for the greater good in general.
Not when the government, not how the government's currently set up, and not if there's people.
How about this? Like, if we splice this, would you be willing to give up 60% of your income if all Black people had these same said things? And
just for Black people,
we can add in what did you just say, G? The child care, the universal child care as well. Would you give up? I'm gonna put it 65%. 65% of like cut your income in by 65%. Would you be willing to do that if that insured all these things for Black people?
65%.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I can't. No, that's you just up the ante. I can't, like, god damn.
We get what so all Black people get what? Break it down.
All Black people get housing. All Black
people get housing.
All Black people get free medical care, free
health care.
What it is, what surgery you need, whatever cancer treatments, whatever any of these things is, you get that. Free child care and free or like you get the necessary food.
If
like
you throw free higher education in there, I might go.
Nah, I don't give a fuck about free higher education. But like, we're talking about the essential.
I'm trying to sweeten the deal. I'm trying to go.
So if we're saying 65 right there.
Everybody has to pay 65%.
And it's just black people.
Would you be willing to give up 65% of your income? Yeah, all America. That's cool.
And I have to pay 65% no matter how much I make.
Yeah.
You go, G. What's your answer?
Niggas ain't sacrificing nothing for
65%. No matter.
This is crazy.
Nigga, you said 65.
Not because once you start making more, that 65% it grows.
Like extreme show like ethical and moral compasses. I'm listening. Yeah,
my name ain't Gandhi, bro.
You ain't sacrificing for black folk. I got you, Johnny.
See, in theory,
I get 45.
Q.
I get 45 though, not 6.
Q. I'll be honest.
45.
In theory, if it worked, I would do it. In theory, if it worked, I would do it.
So right now we're only talking about it.
That's what I'm saying. It's so difficult because in theory, if what you said was true and it really made all our lives better and all that type of shit, I would do it. In theory.
But you wouldn't be able to reach the same ceiling. I know Johnny's not for it. You said in theory, if we're just speaking on the principle of the idea,
he still ain't for it.
If it really,
if it actually
worked.
And if all black people got these said things,
and we got these things as a community, and we were able to take care of ourselves and build from there, I would do it.
Sacrifice 65. Johnny.
I'm saying if y'all did it, I'd do it too. I'd be like begrudging.
That's the Johnny answer right there.
I'd be begrudging. Like I'd be like, God damn it, y'all.
But you really, all right, but you really don't care.
But we better not have no sales tax. And we better not have no property
65%, tax. 65%. You act like 65%.
We better not have no other motherfucking tax.
You act like 65% isn't a
better
crazy
not be no other tax that exists. If I'm paying 65%, there should be no tax on nothing.
That's a majority of the money you work for.
The thing is that like we tend to like to have conversations inside really comfortable spaces. I'll sacrifice about nothing. I won't 15. Sacrifice my quality of life. I won't sacrifice anything that I can't already do. And that's not an actual sacrifice.
Jesus,
like it's just a lot of things that sounds good. When actually pushed to actually sacrifice something that would be a sacrifice to you, would you do it? It sound like y'all weary on the sacrifice. G said if it actually works, he's willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, if it actually worked, I would do it.
Sacrificing shit for black folks.
I said 45. Like I ain't saying I'm not willing to give nothing, but just 65 is crazy.
But let me just say something too, Johnny, about what you said about that 30%, right? Because if you look at the different tax brackets in terms of the marginal tax rate, that marginal tax rate doesn't hit above 30 until for a single filer until they're making 197.
About
197. So you want to reduce the amount of taxes for niggas making 200,000 and up, and then increase the taxes for folks making less than 200,000.
Okay, well, what should I drop it to? 20?
No, if anything, the problem with the taxes arguably now is that the richest only pay 37%.
Man, like
the more you make, the more you should have to sacrifice.
Hey, this is the part that I think fuck most Americans up when it comes to capitalism. Is what Johnny is dealing with right now. Johnny ain't willing to tax the rich because one day he want to be that rich and get off on the plug. That's what the issue.
I mean, the rich should be paying the highest. The rich should be paying. They pay the most taxes, but they should be paying
highest percentages.
They should be paying a significantly higher percentage, and the folks underneath a certain amount should be paying significantly lower because of how impactful, say, 20% is to somebody in a household with 100,000 versus in a household with 800,000. It just doesn't have the same impact. So, especially like if you're making $50,000 and you're paying 20% taxes, but if you're making 200,000 paying 20%, it's just a different ball game.
Gotcha. All right, so
I love y'all though.
Nah, Johnny, we get it, man. We get it. Sometimes you can tell when the nigga's the only child. He ain't sacrificing nothing for nobody. No, these are my toys. All right. shout out to we have our first call in. Before we start running down some of these prompts that test some more of these theories, or test some more of like these principles, I guess you would say. I'm gonna bring up the guy. Feel free. Listen, if you want to feel the slide of the fourth horseman, turn that camera on. But right now we're going to adhere to what G said about. G don't really like people that don't go on camera. But Kofi, welcome to the show, brother. Talk to us.
Yeah, I kind of came in on the tail end a little bit of it, but I just find the conversation interesting but crazy at the same time. I'm not the economist or anything like that, but to my understanding of everything, for systemic social issues that America face, America being the quote unquote richest country in the world, but yet there are other nations that don't have the problems that we have. So, childcare, homelessness, hunger, things of that nature. I think you're playing chess here on cue. I see what you're saying, but I do not think you have to give up at least half of your income.
Oh no, all right, but I was only using extremes just to point out principle, if that makes more sense.
Okay.
So yeah, again, before you continue on, I'd love for you to answer. If all Black people could have, say, those four things,
that includes FBAs.
If all Black people could have those four things, would you be willing to give up 65% of your income
to help the FBAs?
That sounds good. My second question, my first question to that would be:
so is your answer yes? If it actually does work, your answer is yes.
My answer is yes. If that will work, I am for that. But in what way? How would it be executed? Would be my question. To make sure that
the right way.
Yeah, like so again,
right way according to who?
Yes, but so again, like if we're using it inside the best faith manner as possible. So meaning all Black people have access and the ability to get food as they need, and it's the healthy food. It's not them specifically rationing off all the nasty medically detrimental shit. If all Black people can get every single surgery, every single procedure, get all the proper
so it sounds like a version of
if all Black people are able to have, yes, I like one could say that could be that. But right now we're just speaking about like if you had to sacrifice 65%, would you be willing to sacrifice that for the greater good of all Black people?
Again, yes, I would do that. And you said all Black people, FBAs are considered Black people. That's a question you need to ask FBAs because they're separatists. When you say all Black people, we mean all Black people. And then my whole thing would be like,
you said if it includes FBAs,
if you do that,
do it.
If we were to do
not
that,
the natives.
Like, let's stick with the one thing. Let's compartmentalize these issues.
we talking about? Like, we're not gonna get into the game.
My bad.
Let's stay serious. Let's go ahead.
My whole thing, I guess it goes back to Johnny's and G's follow-up question would be like, okay, how will that affect us in America in the capitalist system? How would we favor when it comes to our white, Asian, and Hispanic counterparts if we were to give up half of our income?
Let's just make it a blanket across the board. All people had to give up that, in Black Americans was able to get that benefit. But you, as a Black American, also are included inside all Americans.
No, again, I said I totally agree. If all Black people were to,
right, so let me ask you this: would you also be for it if you had to give up 50% of your income if all Americans was allotted those same programs?
Yes, but then at the same, but at the same time, well, that's a different conversation. But I'll just keep it simple and just say yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the show. We got Chuck. What's going on, brother, man? Talk to me. I guess answering the dilemma first would be the easiest thing, and then you can give us like your POV. So let's start with America first. If you had to give up 50% of your income,
I already hate it.
All right. If you had to give up 65% of your income,
negative.
Sunny side. Okay, talk to me.
I don't want none of that. I work. Okay, if I'm working for my family, what's my business with whoever? I'm
working. Gotta say it.
It doesn't matter. I'm working for my offspring and for my my extended family, my immediate family. This take half my money for other people who aren't my family. That doesn't sit right.
You saying black people not your extended family?
Yeah, I love all people. I love everyone, but I love my family more. You see what I'm saying? Does that
all lives matter?
I like. Okay, imagine you work from 6 months to give other people that money. That doesn't sit right with me. I don't like taxes.
Ain't gonna work as hard.
Yeah, why would I do that? Like, you're taking away my incentive. I'm working hard so that I can leave something behind for my children. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not working hard so I can leave something behind for somebody else's children.
But what if you don't? But like, what do you want to leave behind? Like a house, or like what do you want to leave behind in theory?
A house, a business, some life insurance policies, some assets.
But why would you want to have those things in theory, right?
And you could still leave those things behind. This isn't like a socialist appeal.
Yeah, you could save your money and put it in an IRA or something like that so your family could get.
60? Did you say 50% or 65%? Those numbers are
both.
They're both crazy. They are.
So both of them was used. One of them is for if all Americans was able to have these programs where access to, again, healthcare, food, housing, and 65%. 65%.
No. I think you should. It's not my responsibility to support people unknown to me. You're. Why am I getting involved with somebody else's household?
So you don't believe in taxation at all?
I believe in taxation, but I think it should be minimum. I see the government as a protection racket. They have the power of the state to collect your money.
But the idea of this would be raising the protection on all people.
No,
Chuck,
I don't like it.
Do you think Nigeria
the government already takes money out of
taxation?
Of
you gotta have representation.
But what about in Nigeria? Do you think the country of Nigeria should provide those services for its people?
In a perfect world, in theory, yes, but the government of Nigeria are thieves. They're running a
so tell me why. Tell me why the government in Nigeria should provide those services, but not here in America.
Well, no. When you say those services, all right. Well, okay, I'm not saying. I think I misunderstood the question. Should the government of Nigeria tax their people 50%, 65%? Is that the question?
And provide those social services for all of their citizens to have a certain. It'll eliminate, extreme poverty, raise everyone's floor, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody got running water, no more rolling electricity blocks.
Water. That happens in America, but I understand the question.
No, first of all, that would never happen. The government of Nigeria, the political class, would enrich themselves and put their money.
We're engaged in ethical, moral hypotheticals. If it could, if all people gave 65% and it was able to allow those things in Nigeria, you wouldn't be for it.
Nope.
65%. For all people in Nigeria,
but everybody
pays 65.
Everything that G said. You have running water. You have no rolling blackouts. You have
got paved roads.
You got
paved roads in Nigeria.
No.
What are we talking about?
I would say no because I trust. Honestly, I trust the private sector more than I trust the government. To be honest, I think the private sector is more efficient when it comes to spending money. And
so do you think the private sector is and will ever help the majority and the mass of people, especially the the poorest?
No, the private sector is not. It's not a philanthropy.
So you're not really willing to sacrifice anything to help the common good. It's just helping like your immediate direct family.
No, I'm not saying that. Like, I pay my taxes. I serve on juries.
But if your taxes doesn't do the job, wouldn't it be would behoove the government to say, hey, look, we need to raise taxes because these systemic problems.
Coercion. That's coercion. Like, I don't want to be coerced.
Coercion is doing it without the government got to stop stealing money, because that's what happens. Like, the money gets wasted, people siphon it off, and that's what happens.
All governments do that.
It's like the government could have been taking care of these problems if they wasn't greedy.
I want the government's hand out my pocket. The government's hand is in my pocket already.
They already got
much.
enough.
But right now, the conversation has nothing to do with government inefficiency. Like, I think that's a different conversation. But right now, the hypothetical
that's a Republican talking point.
If all things are working as we want it to, you still wouldn't be willing to sacrifice it.
In a perfect utopian world where everything works as the way it should, and but such a world doesn't exist. So I have to strategize as if I'm living in the real world where you can't trust the politicians, unfortunately. So I got to say no.
So
wait, so if everything in a perfect world was to work out, Chuck, you would say no. You wouldn't give up 50% of your income if it meant to end all systematic issues that people will have. You don't have to worry about hunger. Yeah, go ahead.
No, utopias don't exist. So
no. This is the hypothetical. If it were, if we saw,
and I don't even think that this speaks to the idea of a utopia. This isn't everybody. This isn't the elimination of like social classes and hierarchies at all. It's just raising the basement on all people. To where are you willing to sacrifice to be able to help the common good? And
am I willing to sacrifice 50% of my income to other people for the greater good? No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I have to say no. If I'm being honest, if I'm giving you an honest answer, no. I'm working hard to benefit myself and my family. If I didn't have to work.
What if?
A lot of people to stop working, you take 50%.
Yeah, because life is good. You can just live off the land and shit. You could be like chilling, living a life.
Imagine if all those people did that. Imagine the value of people that did work.
Wait. I think what I think
they're gonna take 50% of that. I know that.
What did you say? The market would, but taking 50% is no different than taking everybody taking 30%. Like, if everybody gets the exact same deficit, it equals itself out.
But 30% is already too high. But you're talking about 50 and 65%.
Yeah. Again, all right. So we'll probably move on, because I think that like there's a space where y'all are like y'all kind of don't really want to engage with the principle of the conversation as much as, like I said, it's really easy to deflect the conversation by just saying like we all understand that governments are corrupt and the history of how things work. But again, it's a little bit more of this was a thought exercise that's kind of ran for a while. That is just to speak about what are you willing to sacrifice for the greater good if all things are perfect. So then now I'm about to start introducing some flawed things. Mm-hmm. And we can speak about, again, if we're willing to sacrifice for the greater good of America.
Let me just add one thing.
Let me land a statement. As Americans and as Black people, because again, a lot of times we get inside a lot of collective conversations and we speak about building for the community. Building for the community, there is an ethical and moral space that if you have more, you have to sacrifice more. And these conversations, they nip at the bud of that. Kofi, talk to us.
No, I think I just want to. I see what you're trying to say, the point you're trying to give, but let me see if I can phrase it a different way. We all know that there's when economically there's class systems, right? And you usually could judge how well a country is doing based upon their quote unquote underclass or the poverty, you know, if they're below the poverty line or on the poverty line.
Mhm.
If we were to give up 50%, 30% of our income for poor people, when you look at the people that are on the poverty line, to be on somewhere on close to the middle class, I think if we word it that way, I am for that. Because look, we don't have, so let's say on the World Poverty Index, you know, we're rated like the top 5 countries with the lowest poverty. That means the person in that scenario in that country would what's the word I'm trying to say? The person in
I ain't
that
never heard of that index you
would
talking
be
about. You got to
more
drop the link.
better off than someone that doesn't have those typical type government incentives, like you were using, like those Scandinavian countries. So if we were to go to Scandinavia, they really don't have poverty at all.
But they have other, but no, they have factors there that allow them, for example, to track every person born, and that's why they can do these crazy studies related to like autism, where they know like all these genetic factors with their own citizens. That like it's while the Scandinavian countries do provide those services, they have a unique circumstance where it's not America, like it's not a melting pot, and it's just not the same.
Well,
and can I add something to this?
All you need to do is fine tune it. So I understand what you're saying, but America having more resources and capabilities, they're able to do that. That's the whole point when people use these comparisons against America having the tools, having the money to do it, versus other people that have less resources and tools.
But see, that goes back to the thing I was saying earlier, with the issue being the fact that corporate America doesn't pay their fair share of taxes.
So I agree.
So if you know, in theory, we wouldn't need to pay that high of a tax rate if corporate America paid their fair share of tax to begin with. We wouldn't need to go up to 50-60%.
Agreed.
We could have a flat tax rate if the corporations paid their fair share, in my opinion.
But here's my thing, though. I think there is income inequality because not everybody is equally productive. I don't think if I'm working 7 days a week, why should I give half my money to somebody who's working 0 days a week? I think there should be a commensurate level.
I don't think that's. I think that's like one of the biggest.
You're not giving your money to another person.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't, but I also think that's
my money, though.
Bigger straw man. To be honest, like I work a job that pays well, but I know people that work way harder than me. Anybody that does physical labor and you sit on the computer and push buttons, they work way harder than me. And a lot of times these people work way more hours. Like I don't think that is really comparable. I don't think that we get paid for how hard we work. We get paid for like our.
You mean white collar job versus blue collar job?
Yeah, like we get paid for like our indebted to like the system in which we paid. And then that allows us like these degrees that don't even mean that you're smart enough, that then just puts you inside jobs that lets you tell people what to do. So you're not explicitly working hard. You're just managing like systems and shit like that for people to actually work hard. I think that the fallacy that the people that get paid the most are the hardest working people is just that, a fallacy.
But do you think that what's involved here is envy and not the dissatisfaction that's produced in men, not by what they lack, but by what others have? So if you see somebody like who's a multimillionaire and you are just, let's say you're a millionaire, but you see a person who has $100 million, you want income inequality because you only have $1 million. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think.
Well, I think that could be a version of it, but like, so for me, like my thing is that I'm okay staying where I'm at or going below where I'm at specifically if it helps all people that look like me.
But don't you just want to bring the people at the top down to your level?
I don't like if I didn't bring the people at the bottom.
He's not screaming eat the rich. He's not screaming eat the rich.
Yeah. I'm not saying that at all. Like I don't like people at the top can still exist. I don't care about that.
But you did say, Q, you don't think niggas should make $1 billion. You believe that billionaires shouldn't exist.
So I think
said $1 billion trillion.
Yeah, I did say $1 billion trillion actually, but
okay.
But no, I think that inside a rational system, like having a cap, and you could put the cap at what makes sense for like that system and the people. But I think after a certain amount, you're just hoarding wealth hoarding resources, better yet, that could go for the betterment of a society. And that's my thing. I think that whatever makes it to where you live at the best version of whatever you want to live at, go for it. Like, I don't think that like all people need to live in the exact same way.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with making enough being a billion trillionaire, but to get there, if you're making it somewhere, you're making it in some country. So I think you should be taxed. So make as much money as you want, but if you're paying your fair share of the tax, it will help people out. People don't understand the reason taxation is hundreds of years old, and people think that if you're being taxed, of course we're dealing with people. People are dishonest, but the reason for those taxes is to maintain the government.
The question is, what is a fair share?
Maintain the people within the government. So if the money is being allocated and used correctly for the people, it should be no problem.
The question is, what is a fair share? What exactly is a fair share? What percentage is a fair share?
Of what you mean?
Okay, he said that everybody should pay their fair share. Well, what is this fair share of taxes?
I think that
can we quantify a fair share? What does a fair share mean in practice?
But the thing is that that's a variable answer, and that then hints at like what most economic systems try to solve for, where like a fair share is more so dictated off of what you get out of it. And I think a capitalist is going to have a different POV than a socialist, a free marketist, or a communist. Like the governmental and economic systems are kind of based off of that exact principle of what does a fair share mean. Some people will say that means like how hard you work, what you earn. Some people will say that there's a human right to it. Some people like it becomes very, very variable.
It branches off to different things because
Kofi he spun us. I was about to get us back on.
Sorry.
But
can I throw out some examples of just what the average tax pay is for some places? So we're talking.
I want to hold you right here. We're gonna get to should we tax the rich in a second. I wanted to start walking a little bit.
All right,
but keep that pulled up. We're gonna get like that. I think that's number 3. Y'all got the numbers inside the IG chat. But I do want to start us off with again, right now we're talking about collective versus personal sacrifices. This is also the majority versus the minority. This is the good of the collective. Should democracy be utilitarian?
You mean for the greatest good?
For the greatest good for the most people?
No, not flying. No, because
I think most.
So. All right, go. I do think that.
I think democracy.
We can talk about principles again.
Well, no,
go ahead.
I think democracy does. I think that's one of the things they even put in the Constitution about. They do owe some protection to the minority, and I think that's one of the things. Like there is democracy. Like the popular should have their way. But
what part of the Constitution are you quoting?
I have to look it up, but there is.
Wait, what? All right, go ahead, Jamie.
I can. Okay, let you. I'll look it up and I'll come back with my answer.
But they speak specifically about that the minority are owed something specific.
I'm about to look it up. Let you go. I'm about to do some research real quick.
Okay.
So when you say utilitarian, do you mean the equality of outcomes or the equality of opportunity? Well, what are we maximizing?
I think that it's speaking about doing what is good for the majority of people. Or what the majority of people think is good.
Exactly.
It moves all off the collective. What is the most beneficial for the collective?
I gotta say no. Utilitarianism doesn't work for me because what if the average person is not very intelligent? What if the average person makes bad decisions?
This is your exact same stance that applies to your economic philosophy.
Yeah, I'm not utilitarian in my economic philosophy. So
All right, so right here, do you think that the majority should be able to make the decisions for like democracy should be controlled by the majority or the minority?
no, I think there has to be some system in place between. I don't think we should have a direct democracy. I think
That's not a democracy then. If it's only
it's not a
controlled by the
direct
minority.
democracy. I think a democratic republic or a constitutional republic is a much better system than just ruled by a mob majority, because a lot of people can be susceptible to. But like populism can sweep the nation. And let's say you have one, a charismatic leader, he can take control of the nation very fast.
Like right now.
But hold on, but that also means that if we inverse this back to your economic thoughts, one really rich person can hoard all the resources from a majority of the poor.
A rich person's money the economy is not a zero-sum game. So for Elon Musk to have his billions of dollars, he's not taking money away from poor people.
He definitely is. But
how is his companies taking money away from poor people?
I guess you would start with, is there a finite amount of, I guess, money inside the United States economic system?
No, there's not.
So right now there's unlimited, or are there
that's part of the issue. That's part of the issue because these companies have crazy quote unquote market capitalization values that don't necessarily like the market says the company's based off is worth one thing because of the share price and the volume of shares in the market. But the company itself might not make a fraction of that number in a given year. And it might take years for them to fulfill like that, the actual value. So there's perceived value in the market, which has a number. And then there's like actual money supply, which is a different number.
Right. But that's still,
both of those numbers go up. They can print money off the trees whenever they want. And they've done it many a time.
But there's still a cap right now to what the American economy is. It's not finite. It's not infinite. My bad. It's not infinite. It's finite. Because of, again, like if you look at any of these governmental systems inside any other country whose money is 1,000 whatever is for $1 or 2,000, 5,000, it's because their cap is way higher than Americans. And that's kind of how that works. And so if we take it to the idea that there is some version of a ceiling, again, we don't have to like get into like the idea of physical money versus fiat money and digital currency. But if we're saying that there is some version of a ceiling to American money, if it all stopped right now, then I think that it is a very like relatable statement.
But do you think that every time Elon Musk sells a Tesla, he's taking money out of some homeless person's mouth? He's taking food off of people's.
I think that the more his, of course, not like,
not in that
every
way.
time he sells a Tesla, you would never say that. But if he hoards, I don't know, he's the richest man in the world. So like the resource that he is hoarding economically, if dispersed, would be beneficial.
But he's not liquid though. That's the thing. He's the richest man in the world based off of valuations, not actual liquidity.
This is true.
Okay, that makes sense. It's just like Trump in the beginning. Trump is not like, well, I mean, now with all this the little overreach and scams that he was doing before his second term, he was pretty much cash poor. And I always been telling people this for a long time, because when he was indicted in New York for 32 accounts of fraud, and the money he had to pay out was $500 million. He couldn't come up with the money. He couldn't come up with the money, and no one wanted to loan him the money because they know he's not good for the money. So he was cash poor. So yeah, the value and your actual liquid assets are two different things.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't specifically push back against that.
So that's my thing. If Elon's road to riches is largely because of the volume of shares that he receives as the owner, CEO, whatever his title is of these various companies, that's not like if my wealth lies in the companies that I created and their value, I do kind of question, how does that taking money away from the poor?
I imagine one could argue inflation. One can argue the value of the dollar if like one person even hoards this imaginary money that most of money does imaginarily exist. Like that would be the issue of it, is what the dollar then could buy for the poor person.
Well, what I could talk to a little bit more practical, how he's taking money away through government subsidies and him cutting social services and programs that we're talking about right now.
That moves the needle. That moves the needle.
We've also lost the plot. So, like, if we're to spin this back, because I'm only using the idea of a person with power being able. So in general, I just want to make sure I understand. Are y'all making the case that Elon Musk's wealth doesn't impact poor people at all?
Not directly, no.
I'm saying it's not a zero-sum game for him to be rich. He's not producing poor people because he has money.
I think that the money that he has hoarded would be distributed differently across the country.
He doesn't have money hoarded, is my point. He has stock hoarded.
Yeah. He has value.
All right. And
the stocks that poor people would never touch.
Yeah. But again, like if we want to dive into like the deep, like theoretical money game and how that like actualizes itself into people, we can. But him having stock is just another like symbol for him having value, which is another symbol for resources. And if we don't like translate money, like I translate money and resources almost simultaneously, because of that's what it has in the past and in future and right now exist as a like a symbol of. But it like
we live in a token economy where most people trade hours of their waking life in exchange for currency, and they use that currency to buy housing, food, clothing, shelter, everything else like that. Right. I agree with that.
Digital and fake currency. This is like the whole
right, but every sale is a purchase. Every sale is a purchase, and every consumer is also a worker. So, the way the economy works is that goods and services are bought. The consumer is also a worker, and they consume more goods and services over time, which I guess that could make people like Elon Musk wealthier. So, but I don't see how his wealth detracts from everybody else. I don't see how he's stealing his money.
No, his wealth, even what his wealth is able to control, does impact regular people. But then, like we've seen, and again, like I didn't bring up the example of Elon, but if we use Elon, his wealth has bought him the biggest platform in the world, which is Twitter, right? In which he then controls and disseminates information, and he drives up and down his stock price. Like that would be an example. His wealth bought him a seat at the table with the most powerful country as an immigrant to be able to dictate policies that he wanted to turn this way or that way.
That's not unique to Elon, though.
Who would ever say it was unique to Elon? I'm just using this is the example y'all gave. So I'm just walking down how he has been able to impact and and what he advocates explicitly for are like the cutting of more entitlement programs. He's against Medicaid. He's against Social Security. He's like he is.
But that's a different argument than saying.
But if we're again the statement was, how does his money impact it? So Chuck walked down like the actual tangible way. But then if we talk about like the policy, the reach, the push of like government, like this is also another way. Like I don't know if we're like right now if we're saying that oligarchy, like American is like a pseudo oligarchy, but also rich people don't impact the life of poor people. Like I don't see how that like these two things can exist together.
A bizarro version of Elon Musk will be we should use as an extreme to not would be Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett will tell you right now, I don't need these tax breaks. Like I don't need this. You know what I'm saying? That would be a bizarro version.
Yeah, let's use because what I thought the conversation was that because he's rich, just because he made all of this money, it's hurting poor people just because you say he's hoarding resources, not that he's using his influence. If you want to argue that he's using his influence and that's impacting people, I think that's a different framing than saying because he has so much money, it means it's hurting poor people. It's not just the money.
Do you think stagnant assumed currency drives up inflation?
That what?
Stagnant. So like if he's hoarding, like he's a billion trillionaire, right? Like he makes who knows what his net worth is, but he's usually the richest man in the world, right? And most of that is inside like American whatever. And his evaluation, a lot of it comes from American value of like what he's doing inside America. Do you think that him having that money to himself and not circulating in the economy drives up the value of, or drives down what the value of a dollar is?
No, because the money hasn't even been liquidated.
It's not about it being liquidated. Most money isn't liquidated.
But that's my point. You can't miss something. You can't miss something you've never had.
If it drives up inflation, you can.
But his stock price going up, Q, is not what's driving up inflation. You can't tie those two things together.
Okay, so you don't believe that stagnant money, like a mass amount of stagnant money, wouldn't mean that
that's not what he has. That's not
You're
what
talking
he
about
has.
wait, you talking about stagflation?
No, I'm not talking about that.
You're talking about literally taking a bunch of US dollars and just holding them and not spending them. That's what you're talking about.
Inside the way that we actualize US dollars, yes.
And what I'm saying is his value isn't based off of how many US dollars he actually holds.
Okay.
He don't have a high volume of US dollars he's hoarding. In fact, that's one of the things about Elon that people often talk about is how he avoids taxes by keeping everything in the market, getting issued stock, taking loans against his stock. So when he gets money in the form of a loan from a bank versus cashing out his stock.
Right. What is that stock in?
Various companies, Tesla, SpaceX.
Is inside the like the NASDAQ inside? Like what? I mean, is it like what is the stock in? Is it inside the American stock market?
One of these trading markets, whether it's the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. I'm not sure which one is what.
It's like American though, right?
Yeah. But Q, you're not you if every company cashed out their market capitalization, the economy would be in shambles. That's not like,
of course it would.
But so this is what I'm saying. They're not hoarding anything. Their valuations are so crazy. Like, did you just see what happened to the owner of Oracle's valuation after the deal with OpenAI? Hence why he bought TikTok and all these other things.
Let me ask you this. Maybe this makes it easier. Does the stock market impact inflation?
No.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So I guess we can move. I guess back. We can spin back into the original point. Should democracy be utilitarian? I was speaking with Chuck, and I was making a quick comparison of how a person could be, or a majority and minority, and that's kind of what spun us into where we was at. But yeah, fellas, what is your thoughts? Majority rural versus minority rights. Again, it sounds like the majority of people on the panel, maybe Kofi, G inside some aspects, me inside some, or I was fairly on the other side.
Do you think that the
for the idea that individual rights should precede the collective, and inside this idea of democracy, the individual rights of the majority would be preceding like the minority? What is your thoughts?
I think that oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I think with democracy though, I think like in a fair system, I think the majority rules, but the minority still have rights, and I think that's where we have to like look at it.
Nobody said that majority shouldn't have rights. I mean, the minority shouldn't have rights.
they should have rights. So there should be
But
certain
should the majority have to sacrifice any of their like leverage
for the minorities' rights? Yeah, like I have the right to swing my fist up until the point it hits somebody, and then like I can swing my fist.
all right,
the moment it hits somebody,
honestly, I don't think you got the right to do that. If you swing at me and don't connect, I still think that might be like assault without battery.
But I have the right to swing. Right,
all right, so
and I have the right to swing until I hit somebody, and then it becomes a crime.
No, but
until I'm swinging, like, but I'm saying, but I can swing as much.
Johnny, let's maybe I'm struggling to understand like your example. So, what do you mean?
I think he's talking about liberty. I think okay, America is
It was never about like minorities not having any, like the Constitution still exists,
right?
Like, what are you speaking towards when you say as long as the minority has rights?
When you
We're not
like,
talking about taking away rights for the minority.
But like even at the cost, like if you're gonna take away, like if you're gonna do something for the benefit of the majority, cool. Like you should do it, but it should not take away the rights from the minority, or it shouldn't like
who's speaking about, but nobody's speaking about this. So like you keep bringing in an argument.
That was the whole you said. So what was the original question?
Like the idea is, should democracy be utilitarian? Which would mean
the definition of utilitarian
is the idea that it does the most benefit for the majority of people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's cool.
But all right, so now let's just use America for example. The majority of people in America are white. Should democracy benefit most all white people?
I mean, no, probably. I mean, if the majority of people in America are, of course, like it should benefit the majority of people. Like, yeah,
a democracy has to protect individual liberties.
Wait, all right, Johnny, say that again.
Like, I mean, if the majority of people are white, there definitely should be like they're gonna get some benefit for being the majority,
and that should be at the expense of.
I literally just said until it starts taking away rights from the minority.
All right, cool. But you're saying
that's the balance. Like I said, like that's the balance.
Cool. But making sure that we explicitly understand what you're saying. It should take away up until it takes away any version of constitutional rights. Maybe that's what it sounds like, right?
Like they have the right to do whatever they want to do until they start taking away rights from other people.
Okay. G, what's your thoughts?
On whites having their way, or
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
what?
Johnny said whites should have their way.
No, they have the right to do whatever they want to do until they start taking away the rights from other
majority
people.
rule. Like so democracy should lean the way.
That's a fair statement. Like,
democracy should lean the way of the white majority until, or as long as it doesn't take away any like constitutional rights of black people.
No, this is why America is uniquely in the position that it's in with the checks and balances that exists, because the thing that governs is the Constitution in theory, not the actual people. You know, the people play a role, but people like, you know, so it can't just be based off of majority wants for things to function. I think that's one of the things that makes America like uniquely just how they fit in the society, in the global picture. Like, we have what is called a constitution. If the majority of people are against that constitution, like the thing is like these things can't be uniquely applied for certain groups. So you can't have the majority say, yeah, you know, only the majority of us can go to school, right? Like, and stuff like that. It's like you either have education for everyone or we don't have education for everyone. And if the majority votes on that, then that's what it is. But you can't then make the majority vote on things that only I'm kind of saying what Johnny's saying, but the reverse is that you that's why you don't want to have that, because then they'll just do things for their own benefit.
Right. In essence, it sounds like you don't want the average person inside the majority making the rules for all people because of likely the minority is going to.
It'd be a failure. Because like Chuck said, he cares about himself, his family,
and that's it.
What he cares about, and that's typically the sentiment of the average person. So that's how they're going to vote.
Okay, time out. So if the majority don't matter, then what's the point of democracy?
But can I ask a question though?
We are in a republic.
This is true, but
we're talking about democracy right now.
We are talking about democracy.
But let me ask a quick question though. So let's say if the majority of white people said, "Let's re-up slavery. Let's bring it back. Let's roll it back." They're the majority, right? You don't think? No, but
I got an answer that takes away my rights. They can't do it. Like that's the answer.
Right.
Like,
okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like their individual rights are enshrined in the Constitution. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That you cannot have a majority rule impinge on your individual rights. This is why it's a constitutional republic, because in order to you have to change the Constitution, and it's a very high threshold to get the votes to change the Constitution in order to bring that back.
So, do you? I guess like the quote unquote system, institutional racism. Do you believe in that?
Yeah, of course. Jim Crow was institutional racism. 100%.
Wouldn't one say that majority rule in democracy is what allow institutional racism?
Yes. Well, the racism was enshrined in the laws, in the legal system. That's what made it institutional.
Right. Are you saying what made it, or is this institutional racism still exists right now?
Yes, I think there's a disproportionate impact when it comes to Black people interacting with the legal system and negative outcomes.
Do you think that is because of the rulings of the majority?
It wasn't really the majority, because like it was the Confederates versus the Union, so it was a lot of.
No, we're talking about today, Johnny.
But that's how it started. We're talking about institutional racism. You got to go back to the beginning, and it was something. It was something that even in the founding was contested by a lot of white people. Even in the founding of institutional racism.
I don't think the racism was argued. Maybe slavery might have been argued, but a lot of people still saw blacks as inferior and didn't want them around.
The systematic institutions were still contested by a lot of people, and that's the one thing that like let us were able to get our freedom.
My bad, Johnny. So really quickly, outside of slavery, what systematic institutions were contested for Black people in America?
I mean, there's a lot of like.
I'm listening.
The civil rights movement came down. There was a lot of people that didn't look like us that were on the civil rights.
All right. So again, we're walking from slavery. You said that, and yes, there are people that did. The majority, I don't know. I think that Lyndon B. Johnson like made a statement for a really, really important reason. Like, I'm doing something that's against the majority of my constituents because it's going to have these people voting for me for,
Yeah.
Okay, so and your question is like outside of like
you was going with the history precedent, and I'm just saying institutional racism in general. Like today, I think it still exists. I would argue that it exists because of the wants of the majority. You're arguing that the majority should have rule over what should happen in general.
Yeah, no, whites ain't gonna vote away their privilege. That's not gonna happen.
But I mean, but that's like one of the like in democracy, the majority does have, and like I say, there are standards. That's why we have a constitution, like G was saying, to protect the rights of the minority. And then if they are impeding on your rights, you have a legal case to fight back, and that's what happened. They fought back against the thing they did using the Constitution.
For sure, but in America, I guess wouldn't we all say like your right is just to be a lower income, if not homeless, poor person in America?
You said that's your right to be.
Yeah, that's like what your right is. That's like the baseline of your right. These are the people that y'all said y'all wasn't going to help out with y'all 50%. Like, you have the right to be that, but that's the baseline. That's it.
Yeah, you can be that. Like what you like? I
Go
mean,
fishing.
Like, you want me to disagree with that?
You gotta get a license to do that. Real talk. You ain't
like I'm trying to figure out. Like,
out there fishing with no
you want
license,
me to
boy.
disagree with homelessness? Niggas could be like homeless if they want to.
No, but that's the only right that you have.
Hey, I respect them off the grid niggas.
That's
really
not the only right that you have. You have the right to vote. You have plenty of rights that are constitutionally protected for you, whether you're the minority or not.
But your right to vote has nothing to do with like your quality of life. That's the point. I think the majority in their rulings,
and they still make you register to do that.
Yeah, like their rulings dictate. Let's say like wealth, personal income, and what is it, generational income. Like all of these rulings, whether it's in city council, it's in state legislation, or across the federal government, impact the minorities inside a hyper specific way. You disagree?
No, I think everything that happens in the country affects black people more than anything. Like, I agree with that, and minorities in general, but yeah, specifically black folks, yeah. But like the country that we are set up in, the Constitution, like, I mean, literally, that's the Constitution. Like, they can vote on the things, and if we want to do it, we know the ways that we can vote, or we can. There are certain things we can do to impact that.
Like being majority, as long as the majority votes against it, that doesn't. Like,
I'm saying, I mean, I ain't want to go into this, but there's another minority group that like get their way based on, and we know how they do that. But like, it's not based on people liking them; it's based on them making it happen.
What group are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about.
Small hats.
All right, but I think that's a sound good. I think that culturally they are looked at as white. In America,
but they are a minority, like overall, like people, like even culture, like globally.
No, that's cool, but they're a minority of white people.
Correct.
Like why you would like frame that in that way? That's like saying, well, you know, them Irish doing good, or them Europeans doing good, or like, what are we talking about?
I'm saying it's a playbook that they go by that work, and it's not about them having a majority. It's about them having power and influence. It's not about them having a majority, though. It's about their power and their influence.
Yes, it is. They're attached to a majority. Why is Israel the motherfuckers inside the Middle East? It's because they're attached to a powerhouse.
Germany wanted the boys out of there.
Multiple power.
Perfect. Yeah, Europe and America. They got the backing of Europe and America. Israel wouldn't be what it was if it wasn't for Europe and America backing them.
Because they
identify. My bad. Okay, I'm just saying that's a minority, and I see them boys like my bad. If y'all ain't rocking, I'm just saying
they're a minority.
Like my bad. Like,
but they identify with the minority. Like, show me
they
what
can blend in, right? They
but they do
that when they want to. They align when they want to, and guess what? When they ain't doing what they want to, guess what they do? They'll disattach from that too. So it's not like they. So they only do that for their benefit.
Of course, but why wouldn't you do it when it's all beneficial, and then you get more benefits isolating yourself? Like
we talking about
it's like saying, damn, white women are a minority. I don't know. They're still attached to the power structure.
Yeah, but
they're a minority. Technically, they get DEI and all this shit.
I ain't finna keep on talking about them. I just made an example. Like, I don't want to stay on.
I know. I guess I just think that it's a bad example because of the example of a minority that you gave is backed by the majority. They identify, they blend in, and they easily associate with them. Like, give a non-white looking minority.
White people in South Africa. White people in South Africa.
What are they backed by? Trump. You keep going with.
They're still but no. Overall, they're minority though.
No, Johnny,
they're a minority in a majority African country. They still run shit.
Where do they come from? What are they backed by?
You said give me another minority. Goddamn, I'm trying, bro.
I said that's not white attached, and you just went for an
argument.
I didn't hear that part.
Same groups of people. That's backed by the same groups of people.
So now give me a non-white minority that exercises this.
They ain't any.
Give me
White
a
people
second.
on code.
Give me a second.
It's not. Johnny just
Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, I mean, but like I said, I was making my
brother. There's no white people outside of Europe that's not backed by Europeans.
My point was my point was outside of them being white, as a minority. Okay, I guess
that's the big part. That's the majority part. You can't take away outside of being white when that's the majority inclusion.
Technically, whites are the minority globally.
Yep.
Good job, G.
Yeah. They're the global minority, but they have the illusion of the majority due to their cohesiveness, no matter where they are. Pan-Europeanism, that's what it is.
Well, I think that they're the majority inside the country that matter, unfortunately.
Not the countries that got the resources.
Fuck them shithole countries.
I don't get that. Wait, but let's build upon what you said.
What resources in Europe?
There's no resources in Europe.
They don't, the resources is what they
there's no resources in America. America still needs resources.
They don't need the
resources. They ain't no resources in Europe either.
They work from home, nigga. They don't need them. They got no resources
I think that
over there from home.
America doesn't have any resources.
Kofi, you're about to use.
America actually does have a lot of resources.
Not comparable to the rest of the world. Nope.
Europe ain't got no resources. America got shit ton. America got resources.
Kofi, I say so. Don't diverge the conversation. And this is, I understand what you're saying. What do you mean by important? Meaning we don't have resources. We don't have
No, I didn't say you don't have zero resources.
I didn't use the word zero. That was G.
I don't mean to use the words. America doesn't have zero resources.
We're not inside abundant. We're not the place of that. But what? Unfortunately, Europeans, white people, XYZ are in. They're inside spaces that control military power. That matters.
Agreed.
And they use that, and that's what I'm talking about specifically. I think
guns, germs, and steel.
I think that if
people with guns
and you get exploited, like what is the value of you having those resources? It only means that you get stolen from more. And so, like when I'm using it inside a very much a power. I forget what the term is. A force doctrine way. That's what it is. I'm using it very much so a force doctrine way. Where if you have the power and the force to do it, you can do it, and a person can allow it, or you can take it.
But Q, hold on, Kofi. Kofi, hold on, Kofi. I want to ask you this.
Sanitizing barbarism. That's all that is barbarism.
Hold on off. That was crazy. Go ahead.
But now Q. Now I want to say, could you not flip that thing and say in the same force as far as like if white people are the minority globally and they use that to get their shit off, couldn't minorities in this country use the same thing to exercise our power if we through collectivism, where like it's not about just
that will require Pan-African.
I ain't against that.
Hey, listen, we go. Oh,
that would, but what your point though, Johnny? That will require us connecting across the diaspora.
Yeah, I've never been against that. Go look.
Honestly,
I've never been against that.
Not only will we have to connect across the diaspora,
I don't know about that.
We will also have to reach across the aisle.
Like this.
I'll go back in the crates, boy.
We would also have to reach across the aisle too.
Hey, do that.
We need one type of brown, the Indians or the
Mexicans.
Hispanics. One of them got to join us too. We gotta get across the aisle.
We gotta get Saison or Curry.
Okay. So Johnny, like you're making a statement where the word "could" does a lot of heavy lifting. Could the minority inside America, the 15%, like yes, if you're giving like the comparison of Europeans inside, like where they sit inside the global,
or have they colonized Africa? Couldn't there be a similar blueprint as far as taking over industry in America? No.
They did it with force for people that didn't have the level of technology militarily.
And shame in the process.
Cool. No,
and shame in the process.
Say it again, Kofi. I can hear you.
I said and shame in the process because you can't see the thing. I mean, I don't know if you know anything about chickens. You have this difference between civilization and barbarism. And the Western mentality of civilization just meaning, oh, I have paved roads and I have a level of education, so I'm civilized. But that's not what civilization is. Civilization also has to do with culture and how you treat people. So they're saying they're civilized, but at the same time, their practices in their people that they have colonized are barbaric. So those two things can't exist. So eventually they had to leave.
So whatever term we're using for how they was able, like, to answer Johnny's question, I'm just saying that they used forced over people that didn't have the same military might. Whatever word that we want to use that makes that fit, that's the concept that I'm speaking about.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I just been speaking of, like, I'm trying to get some niggas some power, man. That's how I'm trying to speak power to truth.
You asked, could we? And I said, like, could is doing a lot of heavy lifting. If you could give me like an example of it, cool. But
G already did. You said that'll be Pan-Africanism.
It would be more than Pan-African.
Yeah, I say, like,
we gonna need a brown too.
What would be the idea of
it gonna be some anti-white shit
across the globe for global, you know what I mean, like black support and pride and solidarity.
Put it like this: if anyone saw the speeches,
not like explicitly in America, if the 15% that exists here could strong arm their way into power.
So if you look at the UN, they had a lot of people there. We saw different people from different nations and representatives from Caribbean countries, so a whole bunch of European countries and other countries in solidarity with what was going on with the Ukrainians. Even the president of Guyana, Barbados, and the other black nations that were in solidarity, saying, "Hey, look, you know what's going on in Palestine is horrible." You know, so they have international support. And even when Benjamin Netanyahu went to go make a speech, more than half of the people walked out of the UN, you know, because they didn't want to hear him saying. So I'm saying that to say Pan-Africanism, along with G saying with a couple other people supporting us financially and ideology, and that would work. That's the only way that would work.
Right. And again, I don't think that inside the scenario laid out that Johnny said, of the 15% in America impacting what's happening in America, this is like without without enforcement of other countries outside of America. We're talking about just explicitly what a person can do in America while in America. I don't think that Pan-Africanism helps it, because of the 15% already includes all black people that would be considered black and Pan-African.
You mean Pan-Africanism? People doing Pan-Africanism within the borders of America?
That's Johnny's statement was, well, couldn't the black people, the minority here in America, take help from white? No, you didn't use the word help. That word didn't exist. I'm just going off exactly what you said. So right now, what you're saying is with help from all the other countries. What if the white people use all the white countries too?
What if? I don't know. Shit.
All right, so then let's not have.
We gonna need China and Russia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, we gonna have to get China, North Korea.
White people are part of BRICS, so it's like BRICS. Yeah, they're not doing everything on their own.
FBA and the BRICS.
Keys open doors, bricks open windows.
So you're part of Pan-Europeanism.
Keys open doors, bricks open windows.
You're a part of Pan-Europeanism. That's what it is.
They in all Pan. I'm
a globalist.
There you go.
Yeah, global citizen.
Globalist.
Global citizen only when it comes to dealing with white people. If you just want to be a part of it.
You seen what Tone did to niggas that talk about globalists?
He was angry this weekend. Shout out my boy Tone. Y'all gotta go see Tone. That nigga was him and Rail. One was a liar, one was emotional. I don't know who was who, but y'all gotta go check it out.
Oh, they went at it on Sunday.
I don't know who was who, but y'all gotta go check it out.
Yeah. Make sure y'all check out.
They went at it on Sunday. Hey man, y'all gotta clip that and throw it out there.
In front of company too. That's the wild part. In front of company.
We shout out. Oh, do you know Mason Parker?
He went to Winston, actually.
Yeah. He went to Winston.
I got it right here. Shout out Mason Parker Cannon event. It just dropped. But yeah,
he pulled up.
Shout out that boy. paperback Hero Saga. Y'all go get that
for sure. So I guess as we start moving on, and we speaking about collective versus individual freedom, protecting speech by silencing extremists. What is your thoughts? Are we safer when problematic voices get shut down or weaker? What is your thoughts?
It's weaker.
I would say yes. That's the problem.
It's weaker. It's weaker just off the fact, like that's my whole issue with this utilitarian idea of good and better and like who's defining what these things are as good or greater and less than, like, and who makes something problematic at the end of the day just because you don't like what was said or how it was said.
To answer your statement, I think with utilitarianism, it's the idea of what is best, quote unquote, for the majority of the collective. So if it benefits the majority of the collective, that's the idea of it.
But you can make so many different arguments as to why something is beneficial to a majority, and then then you have to then say whose argument is right versus wrong. Like it's too subjective, in my opinion.
Again, like there's an opposing ethical POV for sure.
Yeah, it's just too. It's a little too.
It sounds like you don't fuck with it. It's cool. Like you could just disagree with the principle.
What was the question? Repeat the question.
For you, are we safer when problematic voices get shut down or weaker?
Oh no!
Yeah, go ahead, Johnny.
No, I don't think the country's like. I don't think we're ever safe when any voices are getting shut down. I think we're only strong.
Just under the shut down the voices last week. You want to throw them in jail.
That's true. You was ready to arrest them niggas, man.
No, they could have said what they wanted to say.
They tried to. You
tried to arrest them for trespassing.
Let them niggas talk.
Make up law.
Y'all niggas ain't gonna let me answer my question this week. Y'all, this is a whole nother week. Y'all ain't gonna let me answer this shit this week. God damn, it's a whole nother goddamn week.
He changed. Okay.
I ain't trying to I'm trying to answer this question this week.
Johnny go off the whims. Fuck a principle.
But my thing is like America is now whether what you want to do with the voices, do whatever you want to do with the voices. But the voices should be heard because I think it only makes you stronger when you hear the worst shit and then you deny it. But if you just cancel everything and you don't know what's out there.
Y'all wish we could pull it up in real time. Just like if we had a producer to just pull up the clip real quick in real time. That shit would be so funny. That shit would be funny. Oh man.
So what? I can't evolve. I can't like
nigga, you just made
I can't
last week.
That was a week. Nigga, that was a week ago.
I know. A lot can happen in a week. You right.
Nigga, that was a week ago. Like goddamn, like
a lot changes in a week. You right.
7 days, goddamn. You know, you heard the Craig Davis song. You know.
We definitely not gonna hate on evolution.
You cool with them red hats going on TSU campus now, arguing.
I was cool with it back then.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was. I was cool with it back then. That was cool. No,
all right, Johnny. Let's
that's hilarious.
Y'all misrepresenting my point from last week, but I said what I said this week.
Okay, Johnny. All right.
Martin Luther King got arrested, like, but he still had a voice.
Okay,
that was your point last week too.
That's my point this week too.
Johnny getting good. Boy, Johnny, you just I don't know the right word for it, but I see you working on a skill. I don't know what to call the skill yet. I don't know what it, but I see that you're working on it. I see.
I can tell you what it is. It's called being slithery. He can do this.
Slick.
Yeah. Slick food.
I got two.
He could just like sneak through anything, boy.
No, I got two different points. Like you
tell him, Johnny, you watered it. Depending on
you cannot put water in a box.
There you go. You would change forms. Just change a whole different perspective. Argue against yourself.
I've done it.
But
before.
You can put it in a box.
Yeah, if it's watertight.
And freeze it and do all types of stuff. Damn. Water can go in a box though.
I heat that bitch up.
Hey, shout out to this clothing serving right now. Kofi, talk to us, brother.
You got the right to say whatever you want. I don't got to fucking agree with it. But for me, to lose it over, as long as you're not threatening someone's life or promoting violence, I could just disagree and keep it pushing. Me losing my shit, or if I didn't like what you're saying and try to cancel you or whatever, it's a sign of weakness.
Gotcha. All right, so let's keep moving. Should America prioritize the majority or protect the minority? If something helps 90% of people but screws 10, my bad. Let's move this back. If something helps 85% of people but screws 15%,
okay, move it back it out. Goddamn,
is it worth
80-20?
Oh no. If you understand the number,
I know why he doing 15 because that's niggas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
0.5.
Go ahead, Johnny. Or go ahead, G or Kofi, whoever want to hop in.
So the question is,
if something helps, like again, should America prioritize the majority or protect the minority? We're not talking about rights right now, Johnny. We're just talking about just in general. What would help? If something helps 90%, oh my bad, 85% of people, but screws 15%, is it worth it?
No, because those 50% is going to be the minority. Because the whole majority rules without a democratic system that gives everybody equal footing and equal say is not gonna work. That's just a nice way of saying
sacrifice to help the minority.
Who is the minority?
Whatever group this would be. Like this is like a without putting a demographic name on it.
I would say no, because anyone could fit that box as minority. It could be women, it could be black people, it could be disabled people, it could be people that are left-handed. I don't know.
Okay, but
okay. Now I do think, like, if you're talking about strictly the top 10, I do think they owe something.
No. If something helps, oh my bad. You're saying if something helps 90% of like the poor people, but screws over the top 10, you'll be for it. But what if, like, again, the rest of like the general 90% and it helps only 10%?
And it only helps 10%.
No, it screws over the
screws over 10% by helping the 90%.
Let's just again 85 and 15.
I mean, like I said, I think like the example the example I just gave like tells you why you have to have context with principle, because if it's the top 15%, fuck them. If it's the bottom 15,
that's a fair.
Like if it's the bottom 15, like I think it matters a lot, man. But that's why I think context in all these conversations does matter, because what 15 are we talking about?
So being straight principle doesn't matter.
I think straight principle doesn't operate in the real world. Like I think context is always like necessary.
Matters. Because if you pose that question, not to cut G, I know it's G's turn. If you pose that question to any group of people, the follow-up question is going to be like, who are we talking about?
Hey, well, if it's this 15, fuck them.
Like, no. I think that to me, I'm way more of like a principle person than I am of like whatever the context is. Because
so if the 15 is the rich,
okay,
and it screws over the 85 that are the poor.
That's what I'm saying. You can put any minority in that box.
So Q, do you believe in murder?
Do I believe in?
But no,
murder?
but hold on, G. Hey, let him answer that one about the 15, because like he was saying, if the 15 was the poor, and you'd be but what if it was the other 15? And because that's what's happening now.
All right, that like in general, I'm not for just like mass majority rule.
But that's why the rich people are. But that's why the rich people are running shit right now, because
no. So again, I'm for majority sacrifice.
So like this people paying taxes like that are.
It's just whatever the majority is. So again, if you hoard the majority of wealth, that means you have to sacrifice as well. Like I'm for like way more of like a blend of what actually makes sense to where everybody's giving equally into like a society. Like it's like fair. It's fairly simple. Like I don't I
But if the
prefer
people that hoard
stealing
the wealth
and
are in the
raising
minority. Like, what if the people that hoard the wealth are in the minority? What rights do they have?
What is the scenario? Let's talk about it.
Like our country set up, like right now, like the billionaires, like right now, like the majority of the people that hoard the wealth, and like
What would be the policy that you're talking about? Because they're also the majority when it comes down to economic power.
I'm talking about strictly numbers and like just flipping it.
Me too.
So I'm saying like, so if it's the top
So
15,
give me the example of what you're talking about. Like again,
like Texas right now. Like
I
the
am
top,
for everybody paying a flat rate.
But you're okay. Okay, so you're okay. Everybody,
the top 10 or the bottom 10.
But that would have top of them. The top 10 paying a fair rate, it would affect them because now they're paying more than they're paying.
They're paying the same as the bottom rate. Like they're paying more money, but the percentage to their income is the same.
Yeah, I don't like the flat rate personally.
That's cool. Like I can only talk about what like where I stand at. But yeah, I'm okay with, like, what did you say earlier? 30%. If everybody's paying 30% or whatever the number would be, 40%. Who knows what it is? I'm okay with everybody paying that, and then it raising the basement. And if it has to lower the ceiling, I'm okay with that too. My take is fairly simple.
I'm nuanced. I gotta have a context because I ain't finna just go.
Okay.
I'm hopped in there.
I mean, anyone could fit in that box. If to be just generic like that, you could be throwing yourself under the bus if you're just willing to throw other people under the bus.
Right.
But so let me ask the question. Not do you believe in murder? Do you think that people should kill people?
Do I think that people should kill people?
Correct.
No, unless under very explicit circumstances. This would be like freedom of speech. I am for freedom of speech unless you are inciting violence. Like there's certain things that cross the boundary of a principle. And so for me, with like killing somebody, I imagine that there are boundaries that could be crossed, but explicitly killing somebody just to kill somebody, I'm completely against that.
Okay, so principles can't. So the principle is contextual.
Is the principle contextual? Probably.
Okay.
All right, and I guess shout out to Unc. Unc has arrived in the building. Unc, talk to us. What's going on?
What's happening? I've been listening to y'all about, like, I don't agree with like flat tax rate for us and everybody. I don't, because all I can say is this right here. You agree with it. Do you think you could live off of 50% of your salary and live at the rate you are right now if they would take half your money and giving it to somebody else that wasn't working as hard as you did, or strive to have what you have? You know what I'm saying? I think people need to work for what they, you get out of what you put in work. You know what I'm saying?
I can answer. Like, so for me, I am okay with like taking a step back if everybody takes a step forward, especially Black people. That's my personal POV. Like, I don't have I'm very simple. Like, I don't have to have everything that I have. Like, I've lived way less. I'm okay with that. But that's because, like, in general, I'm okay with like pushing for the collective and sacrifices.
But that's the whole my whole thing is this right here. Everybody always pushing for the collective.
Okay.
Why is it that it's like a person want more for a person that don't want? You understand what I'm saying? You out here fighting and you working hard. You're working hard. You doing what you're doing. There's a lot of people out here that just don't want to do shit. That's not what they want. They don't care. They happy with where they at. But you got to sacrifice your money that you worked harder for this person that's not working.
Yeah, I just think that's the shout out to Steve. That's the trick bag. I don't think that millionaires and billionaires, the majority of them are working really hard. I don't think that I just use this example because like I don't have a problem throwing myself under the bus. Like I think that there's a bunch of people that work harder than me that make less. this is a fact. Like half the time, like listen, y'all niggas be in the
But Q, but you still work hard for every dollar you get though.
But listen what I'm going to say to you.
Do you not still work hard for every dollar you get?
Listen what I'm going to say to you. Every last one of y'all worked harder because all y'all have degrees. Every last one of y'all worked harder than the average person that's out here working this, that, whatever, because y'all showed that y'all had
Let me ask him something. Let me ask him something. Q, so you don't work hard for all your money?
No. Why the fuck would I say that? Like I'll be.
Well, shit, let me hold something.
I don't know about that, Q.
Hold on. Let me rephrase the question. Do you guys think there's a difference between? Do you guys think there's a difference between blue collar jobs and white collar jobs?
There's a semantic word of working hard in terms of like. So I'll admit, like, if I compare what like I know my parents, what my mom had to do to make a living versus what I'm doing to make a living, I don't complain at all.
But could your mama do your job? Could your mama do your job?
Probably not.
I think that like,
that's why you get paid what you did.
But I have a skill set. But that's
exactly.
why I would
disagree for your skill set.
Work harder.
My bad.
But I did have to develop that skill set over a period of time.
Even if
it doesn't mean you still work harder than other people.
Let's take
day laborers work harder than.
My thing is, I know for a fact that don't nobody work as hard as I do. Nobody on this whole show. You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact.
Real, Mike.
No. Well, I don't know.
The money I earn, everything I earn is out of blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, working hard hours.
Brother, why are you crying though?
Cool. But and if you're saying that, and by that metric, you should be the highest paid person.
But what I'm saying is that the whole thing is just right here. I don't worry about that. I don't care about that because you know what I'm saying. Whatever position that I'm in life, I put my own self in that position. You know what I'm saying. The same way, like y'all guys, y'all might think that it's cushier to do this or that, whatever. Everybody can't do what y'all do.
Yeah,
I
agree with Unc saying.
That goes across the board.
Like you get paid based on your skill set and like how valuable it is, not like how hard it is.
Exactly.
No, but the whole thing is this right here.
It's the value of your skill set.
All right, cool. Let me get a quick one real quick. So one, I think that saying because we have degrees means that we have earned and worked hard. I think that's.
No, what it didn't show that y'all worked hard. What it did was show the white man that y'all had the ability. Y'all have the ability to go beyond what they give you for as in a free education, and that you're a little bit more willing to step aside and do
it. Does increase your value.
Degrees do make you more qualified for other opportunities. The thing is,
it increases your value.
No. But that's what I'm saying. But y'all did put in work to do it. Y'all showed society that y'all willing to go the extra mile.
No, all it showed is that you're willing to be a capitulated factor in a system and get exploited for debt. That's all.
That's value.
No, no.
For value.
No, the value is that
the degree you do it for. You
Wait,
get a degree,
are you
and
not
you get paid. You get paid more for a degree.
Say it again.
Are you not pro college?
No, so all right. Let's make very specific questions because everybody's talking at the same time. All right, so I don't think that a person that went to college worked harder at all. I'm pro college because of what it yields, even though you don't get to work harder. If somebody starts inside the workforce and is a welder or woodworkman or does anything, I think that from 18 into the rest is like he's going to work harder.
That's what I'm saying. Blue collar jobs versus white collar jobs.
No, for sure. And I'm not even I don't even know. I don't think that we disagree at all. I think that generally speaking, the way when we use words like work harder and earned it, I think that these are loosely fitting words that capitulate to a person's ego. Like, to be honest, I think that majority of niggas with degrees are dumb as fuck. I think that there's in my opinion, a lot of people that I know, the smarter people that I know, are people that don't have degrees.
What about the investment? What about the investment in your college, in your education?
We was fucking bitches in college. We was running around bullshit. Like I don't know about
but it costs money though.
Money, that money don't.
That's an investment in your future.
You invested yourself into the white man's college, and from there, you. What happens is from you doing that,
you're
right
more
there,
valuable as a person.
No, it's not even you more. That's your compensation for you investing yourself into their universities and colleges.
How much more money you make with a degree versus without
that.
one. You're more valuable with a degree.
But listen. But listen what I say to you. Everybody always yelling about the degree and how much more money you make. Let me just say this right here. If you look at far as in a lot of people who take out all these loans and stuff like that, you making fucking house payments a month towards a damn degree that you have versus somebody else that didn't. When it all boils down to it, a lot of money is going back towards that degree that you have that you're saying you're making more money with. It's the ability to it's not just to sit there and have that right there. Because if you look at it, if a person went to welding school at the age of 19 or whatever like this, and he took a couple of courses, he could run his own business and do this and that, whatever, he's going to come out on top better than that person with that degree because he don't owe that goddamn mortgage every month towards that schooling that he went to.
You just made my point. That's the entire point that I just made.
But they still both got value. The person who knows how to be a pharmacist went to school for 6 years is still a valuable skill. An engineer that went to school is a valuable skill.
But what I'm saying is that the thing is that you're still, if you didn't pay for that college you still owe that money you have. That's money that's coming out of you, going back to something that you did. That's all I'm saying. That money is going, it's not coming to you.
Right, over a lifetime, how much money are you making versus how much money you invest in your
you probably arguing with Johnny. I don't think you're arguing with me because like you're still proving that like the point that I was making. Like my opinion is that is the fact that, and I think it goes against like your initial point when you said that we got some degrees in that because of that, like we're more valuable or that we whatever the term was that you use. Like in my opinion, I don't think that a degree dictates like your value and how smart you are, and like it doesn't.
Does it not affect your pay?
It
does affect your pay. I think that's different.
It does affect your pay, but you're still gonna owe unless your family had the money to pay for that damn near that nice little cottage that you paying for every damn month. You owe that money back towards that damn school. You're gonna have to keep making.
But the plus and minus is more. The plus and minus is more. Even if you go to school for $80K over a lifetime, you make like over $1 million more having a degree versus not.
Oh, so what was the original question? Can somebody remind me what it was?
Make way more with a degree.
Where do we
how
go
much it costs?
G, do you remember?
Does the degree make you more valuable or something like that?
So Unc was saying something about like hard work, like working hard versus not working hard.
That's where we was at. And my main point is because I think that if you get a degree over a lifetime, you do earn more. So in a sense of value, I don't think that you worked harder. These are completely exclusive concepts.
But in America, you get paid for value.
But would you agree? Would you agree?
We're starting to use different terms that have different meanings.
But can we
to make a lot of money means that you worked hard.
But let me interject real quick because
I agree.
Let me interject because I think what you're basing hard work is like off of physical labor, right? Like you're talking about like physical manual labor.
Not even that. Like so G again. Like whatever you do, maybe it's hyper specialized.
No, not even for me. I'm just talking about when we talk about just the concept of hard work. Are we talking physical labor?
My thing is that I could have sat in the office and did the office thing, but everybody isn't for that.
Just so me and G can have like this back and forth really quickly. So ask what you just asked again.
Just in terms of when we talk about hard work. Are we just talking about the context of the physical labor it takes to get the job done? Is that what you mean by the working harder versus not? Like, what do you mean by hard work?
I think that, in my opinion, most of soft skill jobs and there's a lot of jobs, especially in corporate America, that doesn't need explicit hard skill set that I think any day laborer can do. Like anybody that grew up since like anybody that's 37 and under can do. The barrier of entry is dictated off of if you have a bachelor's degree. It doesn't even matter which kind that you have. Most jobs, like you can get a job inside corporate America just by having a degree. Whether it's economics, psychology, it's bachelor of science, bachelor of arts, it doesn't matter because all it is like a barrier of entry. Where in general, I think that most of these jobs, for example, I got family that their job, while they're making over 70, 80K, she has her husband that makes way less than that. Just move a mouse every hour while she goes out and like does whatever, shops, XYZ. And like her productivity when it comes down to what she has to do, maybe she has to do 1 or 2 things a day. And it's very minute. It's the click of a button.
Right. So
I think that like these aren't comparable jobs with this person that makes less, would also
hold on, Johnny,
go to a 12-hour day shift and do hard labor. I don't think it's
so here's the thing. A couple. Let me get out a couple points here because I haven't been able to jump in.
Okay.
Would we agree that college is not for everybody?
Yeah.
And so I think this is where the crux of hard work versus not hard work is based off of ability and skill set, because there are individuals out there who are highly skilled, who don't want to do the college thing. They don't want to write papers. They don't want to do the research. They don't want to take these quote unquote pointless classes and do this for 4 years to earn that degree. And I'm not saying that one path is quote unquote harder than the other, but what getting a degree does indicate is that you were able to commit to something and finishing something over a period of time. Sure. And so that in itself is not easy to do, because if it was easy to do, more Americans would get it done. It's not that easy to do. So the idea the idea that I don't have to physically use my body as much for over a longer period of time.
I'm talking about the mental part. We can just go with the mental part.
Even the mental part. Like,
and let me hop in next.
Most corporate America shit is not heavy mental.
But hold up. But let me
do back end shit. Yes.
Let me finish the point, because when we talk about needing a degree for corporate, you can't get any corporate job with a degree. You need a degree to get your foot in the door, typically, is what you need. But once you get your foot in the door, your degree does not mean shit. You have to show and prove once your foot is in the door. Nobody ascends the corporate ladder by being lazy and underperforming. That is a fact.
Nobody would ever make that like statement unless we're talking about nepotism.
So when we talk about, but this idea that you don't work hard in corporate is not true. So it's
the majority of workers in corporate and upper management.
Are the majority of workers in corporate upper management? No.
Then what do we like? So we don't have to talk about the hyper like select. So
you telling me entry level corporate people don't work hard? Like what are you saying?
No, I my bad. I don't think that the majority of people that the higher you get in corporate America work hard. No,
but you have more responsibility, but I don't think
you can more fault to some shit. But you don't work harder.
But you think you start at entry level point and get to upper management by not working hard? I just want to understand that.
No. When you hear upper management does not work harder than
you're not factoring in. But see, no, hold up, because you're not factoring in what upper management gets paid for. It's for expertise and strategic decisions
and performance.
You have more responsibility.
No, but can I say something?
Hold on. Let me hop in after G. I'm after G.
You can't get to that level. So you can say it's easy to point. It's easy to point to an upper management corporate person. Hold on, let me finish. It's easy to point to an upper level corporate person and be like, what they do at that position doesn't require as much of their time or as much of their energy in a given day compared to somebody else. But how many years and hours did they put in to get to that position?
I agree with you.
Be factored in.
No, I agree with you. They put in a lot of time.
Hey, Kofi, hold up. Let me hop in there because my thing is like, even in like a corporate position, I understand that like if my shit is performance based, that's what like it's like it's hard work versus pressure. And it's like I could leave my job and go somewhere where I work harder, but I already know where my pay is going to get. I already know that I just put in this labor. Like physical labor is one thing, and it's worth, but that's not what America is built on. America built it on the intellectual property and performance, and that's where the pressure comes in. When you're in these corporate positions, these CEOs aren't measured by like what they're measured by how much profit they bring in. So you have a whole nother level of pressure, which is a hard job.
I don't think any corporate C-level would be like that.
Can I just say one?
You work in sales. Are the so just be very.
I have pressure.
Like, honest. No. That ain't what I'm asking. Are the highest performing niggas at inside sales at your job? Are these people with college degrees?
At my job, yeah. Most of the people I know that sell good best cars do have at least. It might not be specific, but the ones I do know, because most people at my dealership who sell cars do have a degree.
But you don't need a degree to be a good salesman.
I'm not saying you need a degree to have one. I'm just saying, in my experience, the ones that I've seen have had one. I'm not saying you need one, but the ones I've seen have had one.
Niggas might have went to college.
Can I just?
I ain't checked everybody's fucking
like management, upper management, and things.
I don't know, but you don't need a degree to be a good salesperson.
That's my point.
But the ones who I've seen be the best have one.
Out of all y'all, I'm sure some of y'all are in management, right? Somebody on here is in management.
I'm management.
You what?
I'm management.
That's what I'm saying. So, but listen, what I'm going to say, I'm just going to say this right here. Any great manager always hire great minds, because if you hire great minds, people that are even smarter than you, they'll do a better job. You always want to hire the smart. See, I was in management at one time, my own self, and I know this for a fact. I always wanted great minds around me. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted the greatest minds and people that I thought that probably deep down inside was way smarter than I am. But I knew they could do the job. And I knew that, but I knew I can sit and control what this great mind is doing or what they're doing. That's what great management does. Great management is nothing but a puppeteer. You're just a professional puppeteer.
Let me interject real quick to what I'm saying. You know how Michael Jordan, the player, doesn't equal a Michael Jordan level coach. One skill set doesn't translate to the other role. So just because you have a different role to play doesn't mean you don't have to work hard to do that role well. That's just all I'm saying.
I think
just because you work, just because you're super nice as a player, it's just two different skills. It's like
managing people.
Management delegates work.
Everybody don't want to manage. I know plenty of people who turn down management offers all the time because they don't want the responsibility.
Right.
Exactly. It wasn't even a responsibility in my behalf, as far as me thinking like this. My thing is this right here. I hate the fact that unless you're always up there in management wants you to sit and then tell people to do stuff that they don't even know how to do their own stuff. They expect you to tell somebody to do something. And my whole thing was this right here. If I can't do it, and if I can't show it to you, I can't tell you you're doing wrong on something that I don't know what the hell you're doing. And that's what upper management always does. They put it down on, I wasn't hired here on management, and that's what's wrong is that factor right there, because then I would always be like, how am I to get them to do this stuff when you just come in here with the pie graph man telling me what can happen? This could go, that can go. The damn pie graph man. Fuck you, pie graph man. You goddamn tell me how to do it.
But you never had management tell you to figure some shit out that they don't know? That happens to me all the time.
That's exactly what I just said.
Not my corporate experience. Outside of corporate, I have had terrible management.
No, but I was working at the bank. Weirdest shit you ever seen in the world. Polygraph man know how to can tell you how the numbers can out there and do everything. Oh, this percentage here. How the fuck they gonna do it? And I'll be in the meeting, come out that motherfucker steaming. What the fuck? And then they tell me, oh, I can't do it. If I can't show them how to do it, how the hell am I gonna tell them they're doing something wrong that I don't know what the hell they doing, but the polygraph man said could get done in his time? Tell the polygraph man bring his ass down and
you shouldn't have fell asleep in calculus class.
I think that I've worked jobs that's the exact same way. I think that typically most management, especially if you have an evolving job, they might have been good at a point. They really can't tell most people that are at the specific job that they even used to work how to do what they're doing because of things evolve. Like they're typically used to delegate responsibility and deal with like.
That's it.
But I mean, like at my job, for instance, there's people, because I work in IT, there's people that's supposed to set up projects based upon the clients, and they're called the design team. Design team is supposed to know what you need as far as like your network equipment. Mm-hmm. They will give us things that we don't need. That okay, we don't need that many wireless routers, we don't need that many switches. And when it comes to the actual person that's doing the fucking hard work that goes on site to put these things in, they're like, what the fuck? Who gave me this? I don't need this.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
The actual person, because you got one person is just getting a requisition, just getting a request. Oh, I need this, that, and they're not smart enough to put two and two together. But the person that has to put the actual two and two together for it to make sense is the person that's doing the physical hard work, and this happens all the time.
Yep. And that's the whole key to it, is that things look good on paper, but if you don't, you can say something can get done. Anything could look good on paper, but until it get physically has to get manually done by a person, you can't tell a person to do something. It looks good, but how are they going to do it? And that was my thing, is I would always be like, fuck it. I just be like, look, I'm going to go out and I'm going to figure this out my own self with y'all. You know what I'm saying? What's the best way? And we'll come together as minds and whatever. And fuck what the upper management is saying, because they don't want me to go out there, because I'm supposed to be delegating y'all something that I don't even know how to do, and something that if I can't do it, I can't. I had to, every time I'm coming in, y'all bring me stuff, and we going in the office, and I'm asking you how this happened, how this whatever happened with this or that, whatever. So I would just physically go out my own self and goddamn make the shit happen and find a way for it to get done, and goddamn tell management kiss my ass when it came out to why you out the office. Well, I had a meeting.
I just gotta say,
don't worry about it.
The difference that I'm hearing in terms of like what y'all are calling managers versus what I perceive as managers is different. Managers aren't.
You had bad managers outside of when you was manager.
Bad managers do just delegate, but that's not what managers in theory are hired to do.
So what is the majority of your managers then?
Teach.
Let's see. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
come
outside, because we're talking about corporate, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because outside of corporate, nonprofit, terrible management, terrible structures, working in the school system, very average managers. Like they could do the job, they could show, but just like it just very average overall skill set. What I'm saying is that in a corporate environment, if you're managing a team, you are accountable for the results regardless of who's on the team. You're not just there to delegate. If you're a manager in like a corporate environment, and you be like, oh, we didn't hit our mark because I delegated to this person and they didn't get it done,
you just have responsibility.
Exactly.
No, because see, that's not what I know to be, because if your people aren't getting it done, you as the manager can't take that as an excuse to say we didn't get it done because they didn't do their job. You have to
but they look at the manager.
You're responsible.
You are responsible for the result.
Again, we agree
Yeah,
with
that's what I'm saying, is that the management,
why it went wrong and why what you delegated was off. And that's what Unc is saying. It's like
it was his fault.
Responsibility. But
it's gonna be my fault for you telling me to tell something that you want them to do that you don't even know how to do, that you telling me that I don't know what you're telling me to do, and they don't know what to do because I can't really
but that don't even make a lot of sense, right? I don't know. That's what y'all get told to do at work. Y'all get told to do things.
It was the light skinned dude fault. It was the light skinned dude fault.
So yeah, like you look at like when you want to talk about education. I work in tech. That's still corporate America. Like most things that management above me are asking me to do, they don't have the understanding or skill set to do.
Exactly.
And or understand if like the metric in which they're asking me to do it by is feasible. What they do is that then they look at the results later down, and then they track, and then they remake like prerequisites based off of those things. But like initial thing, like they're all projections. Everything's a projection when it's coming top down because of like I think that there's a space where skill set is probably like at its height, and then once you make it past that, I think that like you're working with people and systems, and there's a space that is as long as you stay inside that funnel, like you'll become an expert at whatever it is. Like let's say like you do web design or graphic design. If you do graphic design and you just do graphic design for 20 years, you're going to be way smarter and better at graphic design in comparison to somebody that did graphic design for 5 years and was fire at it, and then built a graphic design company and started delegating what the newest trends was and just looking and asking people to replicate a thing. Because of you've moved further away from what the actual skill of the job is, and you went into like more so managing people. And the more you manage people over an extended period of time and not dive into the actual like evolution and skill set of a job, you start to lose skill.
I mean, it goes to know they want to know what the management, some management, they know what the result that they want, and they're probably good at getting the results, but they don't know the process of getting good results.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And
Coach Saban ain't never ran a route.
No, but the thing is that somebody might have a skill set that's a good skill set to have. You said what? They don't work hard. He work hard as a motherfucker.
Coach don't work hard because he ain't out there tackling.
Hell no. Most
nigga
Coach Saban done made some tackles. He never ran a route. He played.
I'm just saying you don't have to do the job to manage the job.
It's two different types of working hard. You can mentally work hard and you can physically work hard. Mentally working hard, I think that mentally is way harder than working physical. Because
that's my
when
point.
It comes down to listen what I'm going to say, but it's a difference with that. You have the majority that's not mentally working hard, but they're earning well. Mentally working hard, mentally working hard is something that keeps your ass up at night. You can't go to sleep. When you wake up, you're thinking about that shit. Whatever. When you mentally working hard like that, your mind
working hard. You can't go to sleep because you're sore.
Bro, I used to be a manager. They're not flying anymore because I'm in aviation and farming. I was a manager at Miami Air in Miami. I had to work with every department, and the person who I was replacing, the manager didn't know that the manager that I'm replacing what they do. He knew the results. Every month I had to get reports, and I did not know where to pull it from. I did not know where to get it from. I had to figure out spreadsheets. I couldn't go to the VP of engineering. I couldn't go to the director of reliability. They all just raised their hands. I had to figure that shit out every fucking month. And I had to do a presentation every month.
Is that not what you get paid to do?
No. That's what
that sounds hard.
That sounds like
hard as shit.
Yeah, but
that is hard as
shit.
Hold
on. This is my point. My point is
I'd rather push a lawnmower.
No, me too. At that point, the point I'm trying to say is that even though they knew my point, trying to say, even though they know what the results that they wanted, they didn't know. They couldn't help me in how to get the results in order for me to do
That's normal. That's the pie graph man. The pie graph man never knows shit.
So I think Unc just made the perfect example where, like, obviously nobody would compare what Kofi was talking about to pushing a lawnmower. I think that nobody would say that the lawnmower. I know you did, but I think that it was a bad example because I don't think that it's comparable. Like I also agree that being intellectually overworked, like I think that guys that are like back in like know 5-7 languages in coding get paid what they're worth, and you should get paid that, and that's harder than a lot of, if not the majority of physical labor. I also am humble enough to understand that the majority of people that work inside a lot of spaces aren't using that amount of mental fortitude. Like that person is up at night figuring out why his command line didn't work and why it's fucked. And this one little parentheses or slash inside a semicolon inside of 500, page code isn't working. Like he's up at night at that. I don't think that the average corporate worker is doing it. The majority of corporate workers is doing it. I think that that's the fallacy. And the majority of workers make really good money to do bullshit. In which, like, I've that worked both jobs, and they'd be like, "Hey, I was sitting." Matter of fact, I'll rewind this. Shout out to Rail. Rail has worked both of the jobs, and I've
done both of them.
Yeah, and he's like, "Bro, like, I got paid really well to just type on keyboards and do nothing." In comparison to like niggas is working really, really hard.
But there's a reason why he ain't still typing on keyboards
because he
shit was hard.
Because sometimes, Johnny, we don't want to do that no more. It's not because of me. Unc might act like a nigga, but I went to business school.
It's a different type of hard. It's a different type of hard.
I just didn't.
Yeah, but
I didn't want to
tough.
deal with that.
It's not.
You quit because it's tough. Why'd you quit then if you was getting paid more?
No,
I was getting paid more.
I didn't.
So go do the easy job for more money.
But some niggas aren't wired.
Right now, what I'm doing, I make around. I could be making a little bit more than what I'm making if I was doing the same job what I was doing before. But the thing is, I don't want to be bothered with them dumbasses. I didn't because I felt that dealing with them dumbasses, you have to deal with dumbasses telling you to tell people to do shit that they don't want you to do and don't know how to do it, but they want you to come figure it out. Huh?
Smart niggas tell dumbasses what to do.
That's not like a company issue.
No, but honestly, like Rails literally speaks about it. Like shout out to Jim. Rail, like Johnny, if you want to ask a nigga about it, like Rail watches this, so we'll talk about it on Sunday.
But he talks about the challenges and shit.
No, he doesn't talk about any of the fucking challenges. He said, like, I work harder now, and back then I got paid more typing on keyboards doing bullshit. Like we could talk to him on Sunday, but that's his testimony to him. He values working harder, and so that's what he. Me and his conversation and back and forth is based off of getting paid more for doing less in comparison to working harder and caring about it.
I think there's back and forth. I say I didn't even try to go, but there was something that was harder about that job than it is to go and do the physical labor. That's why you're not this.
You talking about me?
It sounds like he has a personal preference that like that the other type of work didn't fulfill him. Pause.
It didn't fulfill me. For me. I'd rather because see the whole thing is this right here.
I would rather
being
fulfilled from a job. Being fulfilled from a job is an X factor that we aren't talking about. Because, like you said, certain people just like to do hands-on type of work. They're just built to be like builders and stuff like that. Some people are like that.
Or certain people just care to have more value in what they feel that they're presenting. Like I don't know about
you. We're saying fulfillment.
I would just
want to be filled up.
But fulfillment, like some people.
Oh, you try to play the pause game or whatever right now. I want to be filled up. Hell with you, Johnny.
My bad.
You got that go.
But
go goddamn, you gonna sell a car, nigga.
Yeah. I think we stroke our own egos more times than not. Speak about how hard we're working, especially as white collar people. I think that there's a mass fallacy to it. And to be honest, like I'm on Discord with a bunch of niggas that if you're working hard, there's no way that you're typing as much.
Exactly.
I'm typing a lot too. Like, and the difference is that I can't. That's fire. Hard. Like, I can admit it. Like, I be out.
Be up at 6:30 in the morning arguing.
Right. You ain't working hard at 6:30 and you argue till 9 p.m.
Oh shit!
And you got 10-minute breaks in between.
That's bias.
I get off work in the morning.
That's bias.
And I see them they arguing. They had an hour and a half argument before I even got into my car. I look at that, God damn, Kofi done got there and said, what? Oh, shit. Oh, Chuck, oh, God.
Niggas beefing over scrambled eggs.
I'm laughing like hell at what they doing.
Toast and scrambled eggs, they beefing.
Yeah, I just know.
The niggas mad as hell. They mad as hell before they coffee. They putting their coffee in the coffee maker mad. Let me
niggas eating grits angry.
Wait. I don't know a lot of niggas that like the tier that much like mental capacity working really, really hard, in my opinion.
And they working hard in that Discord. That's what they're doing.
Every last one of them is college educated, degreed up, and all of them, I know all of them.
They working hard on ChatGPT.
Oh man, they working hard as hell. They working hard as hell, man. They finding memes and all kind of shit.
This wasn't supposed to go this way. Like y'all niggas, this wasn't supposed to go this way.
Running. No, but these are the college educated ones, the ones that's running these companies, the bosses. You the boss man, but you got them to argue for them all day long while you bossing up and your brain hurting. I think your brain hurting from arguing on Discord.
Hey, Unc, where your Will? Hey, Unc, where your? Hey, like why y'all yelling?
There's an app where you could just have your mouse move.
I ain't even go. I'll let y'all have it. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let y'all have it.
I seen that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm trying
to. The mouse move every now and then to make it look like you working. The mouse move.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh no, I said no. I know this because shout out to my brother. My brother's wife has used that that app. When he didn't have to just use the little thing.
Yep.
All right, Johnny.
Because if you're on Microsoft Teams and shit, you want your shit always to be in the green.
Yep.
You don't want your shit going yellow or red.
Y'all,
like, what the motherfucker doing?
That is a toxic culture. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yo, good job. Good job. This car arguing ass niggas. That's who y'all are. Good job. I make a lot of money. Got a professional mouse mover.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. You know how many times that I have
you got a professional mouse.
Wow, on the road driving 2 hours, then watch my son play basketball game, then just clicked on my computer, moved the mouse a little bit, watched him play another one, drove back to Charlotte for 2 hours, and then typed in, all right, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
Didn't work hard. If I say that.
That's a good thing. That is a great thing to be able to do that, though.
Oh no,
I wouldn't hate on any of y'all for any of y'all.
I'm saying, but you paid, but hold on, but Q, but Q,
he don't have no respect.
Yeah, because you put a lot of work in to get there.
Yeah,
way more work than other niggas did.
Again, like this,
I started.
It's easy to feel good lives. Like what I have done is that I gotta have a really good eye for design. I can pick up shit really quickly. Most of me getting hired at my current job was based off me being a rapper. Like the fact that I was able to build my own website, make my own graphic design,
which is a lot of hard work, nigga. Fuck you talking about?
Most niggas ain't doing that. God damn!
Like, it takes time to write them bars now.
Yo, I know as an artist and you trying to do everything, nigga. Like that's work.
This nigga said he was 2 pennies past a quota.
Listen,
nigga said
all I'm saying is that all that's cool and like shout out to me, but I'm also humble enough to know that a lot of niggas, even when I was a rapper, worked harder than me. And that's my main point is that I worked hard. I think that I've been, blessed with a bunch of different things. And shout out to my brain. My brain works really, really well. But to pretend as though like I just inexorably just worked to where like I deserve like this specific reason that I can drive 4 hours in a day, watch my son play for 2 more hours, and work maybe 20 to 30 minutes and just be like, hey, I worked my ass off to do this. I think there's been people that's worked harder than me. Humble.
I think there is a reason you deserve that though.
Yeah, but some people in certain spaces
like I'm not ego patting my own self. Like to me, like it's not
so your job says we want to give you 20,000 less. You would be like, sure.
No, I wouldn't. Because
why not?
Because you're already paying me what I'm getting paid right now.
Because you're not worth it. It wouldn't be your value.
Oh, that's the agreement that he
like I already signed the agreement to what I'm getting paid.
But look, like there's sometimes when it's your job. If you're a person that works remote, right? I work remote. I work hybrid,
that's
right?
what I'm speaking. Like I work remote.
They work hybrid, right? There's times when people at my job, because most of the people at my job, they work from home, right? But when I do go to work, and the people that do have to come into work or whatever, I'll tell my boss, hey, I'm at work, but I ain't at work. Because we got that kind of rapport with my boss. Like, let me know if anything happens where I have to come in, go on my phone or whatever, you know, and I'll address whatever, but I ain't at work, so don't be hitting me up for everything. And they'll be like, all right, fine, cool. You know what I'm saying? So that's not me working hard. You see what I'm saying? Even though I'm management, you know what I'm saying? I'm like mid-management because, you know, I have like a director I have to answer to, but, you know, I'm like, hey, I'm taking off. I got to do this, but I'll have my work phone on me. So hit me up if anything, yada, 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 that's important. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say I'm working harder than the person while I'm delegating. Hey, I need you to pick this up. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you to come figure this. I need you to figure this out. They're working harder than me.
The one thing I can't say about working hard is like this right here. I know with management. The thing that it is that you, even when you're on vacation, you're not on vacation. A lot of times because if they need something, they're going to call you. Or if it's something that's happening, even though you're supposed to be away and whatever, but you get paid for that. That's the reason why you're part of that. Because you know that
director level. This typically starts at like director level.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Like not manager level. Usually if you're at a legitimate like enterprise for that type of work, I don't think anybody under a director is like that.
Yeah. Niggas
but it's certain.
When you got that director in your title, you in a different. You took a step. Yeah.
But it's sometimes even if I'm saying some things, even like as you were saying, like somebody might know something, you might know something that somebody else don't know, and it be specific and things of that nature or whatever. If you are one of the only people that know it, they're gonna have.
That's why consultants make so much money. That's why consultants make so much money, because of what they know, not because of what they do.
But that was my thing, is that the skill set that I had and the things that I could do. I didn't feel like I was making money, but I wasn't getting paid what I should have, because I felt like I knew more than what the upper management than me knew, and they wanted me to delegate things and come up with ideas that I wasn't getting paid. I felt like I wasn't getting paid for it, because they come with, like I said, the pie graph telling me, oh, this shit could happen, that should happen, and this, that, whatever could happen, and they want me to figure it out how it should happen. And I just felt like that was, you understand what I'm saying? And I know what you're saying, upper tier. That was to me, that was their job. They should have, what I'm saying, had it rolling downhill, at least with some type of something. Okay.
Oh, no, you good. I was actually playing a land. But we went way past what the average of what we supposed to be at. We done got stuck talking about jobs and management and working hard. But again, this
bias ass nigga
of individual have future. We done went inside enough little rabbit holes here, but this has been fun. Shout out to the guys, shout out to everybody that tapped in. Unc, Chuck, Kofi, and of course the guy to the top. Y'all know him. G the King is the cash app. G Axis Media is the brand. Johnny J Rock 989 is the cash app. Make sure that you tap in with the guys. Shout out Unc is still with us. Again, clearly Unc does not like the pie graph, man. But to each his own. If you work hard being a pie graph man, if you work hard in upper management, if you work hard being the I don't know
what about the curve? He fuck with the curve, like the bell curve.
Whatchamacallit?
What about the bell curve?
What does the bell curve have to do with the statement? Like, but nonetheless, this has been a fun conversation. Saying all those things to say that we'll see y'all next week. This has been the To Be Fair Show, the G-ish podcast, G Axis Media, and we out. Peace.